Exactly what is happening. Time and tide waits no man. Karibu sana. I'm Victor Olo. So much as we're talking about that, let's talk about the Vision 2060 that is being launched on Wednesday. That was announced last week by the president. And let's just see what is in the bag. Yes, Vivian, what's in the bag? Mike, what's in the bag? Trevor, what's in the bag? You will tell me what's in the bag.
When you ask it in English, it beats the whole point of it.
Yeah.
You have to say it in Swahili. Bag ni ya nini?
What is the bag? Okay. Nini iko kwa kikapu? Nini iko kwa bag?
Alele mtoto.
I've had all manner of answers. But they, what's the bag ni ya nini?
Alele mtoto.
Alele mtoto.
Hivyo Mike amesema.
You want to echo what the teacher has said.
Yeah, just echoing what the teacher has said. But when you ask it in English, it sounds very interesting. We did that challenge in the office, in the newsroom this weekend.
Yeah, I saw it.
Interestingly, do you know, many people, including the Gen Zs like myself, did not know initially. But I feel if you celebrate Kenyan music, then you should be knowing that.
Absolutely.
I think so. It's from a song, a Swahili song. I cannot sing it here. I don't know the lyrics, but I just know that kuna mahali nasema bag ni ya alele mtoto.
Okay.
And it's currently the trending song in the country.
So, but for us, what's in the bag? The bag, what's in the bag, the Kenyan bag when it comes to politics and law. Let's take a look at what's going to be happening. Law and Politics Beyond Vision 2030 that will be launched on Wednesday. Okay, so my guest will be Franco Ncheru, who is an advocate of the High Court, and also Peter Ndungu, political analyst, Davis Bain on Watch ODM Youth League, and finally, Mosiori Mtetezi, political analyst. The four gentlemen here at exactly 7 a.m. So join me and let's talk about that.
And away from politics today on Family, we'll be having a really interesting conversation. We will be asking you, is age a factor when it comes to settling down for marriage? That is what we'll be talking about right here on the show, and just trying to understand, is age really a factor? Of course it's a factor because you need to be of age first, but then after that, when it comes to age gaps, you know, how do you go about that, and how much is too much of an age gap? How much is too maybe small of an age gap? Does it really matter, or is it all about one's maturity? That is all what we'll be looking into today on a Family Check, and I'm inviting you to be part and parcel of that conversation. It will be coming to you at 9 a.m. We have our lines at 0707303212. You can start sending in your WhatsApp messages on the same, and I'll be sampling them later on. Good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Vivian Ndegwa, and I know Vivian. Both of you want to. I know you want to get into this.
I can see the way Mike is nodding. No.
I was actually to throw it to Mike. You know, do you think age is an issue? Is it a factor when it comes to settling down or choosing who you're settling down with?
Well, that's subjective because it boils down to one. What you prefer, what you do not prefer, but I think it plays a very big role in the dynamics of that relationship. Yeah. Because
I can imagine maybe an age gap of about 15 years. I don't know, but I feel like there would be differences. First of all, you are from different generations. You know, imagine Victor and a Gen Z. Totally.
Or Mike with
so many generations, you know, different generations. So maybe your ideologies are very, very different. So maybe, I don't know how that would work.
The perspectives would be different. I don't know, Victor, if you know this. There's someone said that if for a relationship to work, one of you needs to be 5 years older, and the guy needs to be 5 years older, because girls mature faster, and when you're 5 years older, you're at the same level.
I have a question. I have a question, and this is also debatable. Way back in the days, they'll say that was way back then, but something is standard. When it comes to marriage, marriage is marriage. It is standard in the Bible. Let's begin from there. One, how old was Adam? And how old was Eve when they met? Just food for thought. How old was Adam when Eve was introduced kwa maisha yake? We've never been told. The only thing we are told that Eve came into Adam's life. we were not told how old Adam was, where they met, where they went for their first date, how long they dated. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all these things, according to me, are just the timelines that we as human beings we've put for ourselves.
Okay.
If we go back to the beginning, who knows how old Adam was and who knows how Eve was? The only thing is, they met and God put them together.
Okay.
There was nothing to do with the age and all that. All I know is, are you mentally ready? Not even financially ready. Are you mentally ready for that?
There's psychological maturity.
Exactly, because marriage is it's a spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
And that is why when Adam and Eve came together, that is the moment the snake appeared. There is nowhere the snake appeared before Eve arrived. So which means Adam was not a threat to the devil until Eve arrived. So the moment you want to get into it, are you ready for the devil who is coming to rock that boat? Okay. Can somebody say amen?
It's a very interesting conversation.
Tunatolea wapi?
That's what I said.
Toa ndugu, where we think the money.
We are looking forward to having that conversation, you being part of it.
Yeah.
Remember, we are also on social media at KBC Channel 1 on all social media platforms, so you can start sending in your contribution. My name is Mark Migwe. I welcome you to Good Morning Kenya. And there's a segment here about the Western Spectrum, and today Simon Achola will be handling the topic positioning Kisumu as a medical city in the region. That will be coming to you from around 8 a.m. So tune in for that and more. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, Mike, Vivian, and Victor. That's a conversation, Vivian, that I'm actually very looking forward to it. It'll be very interesting. I know Gen Z have a different opinion about marriage, and I hope...
Not all of them. Trevor.
Not all of them. Yeah,
Not all of
exactly.
them.
Not all of them. I'm not part of the all of them.
Some
but
of them have a
what I
bag.
mean is that they have different opinion. Yeah,
Yeah.
The opinion they have divided thoughts about that, and of course it's a conversation that we're willing to. I'm looking forward to listen to.
Yeah.
But
And we'll have Gen Zs in the panel, so yeah, we'll get their
Perfect.
perspective as well.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Good morning, Kenya. And this is the Good Morning Kenya show. Kenya is awake and so are we. We're not here just to give you what is in the headlines, but also the conversations like you've had to help you know and understand what it means to you, your family, your workplace, and even your future. My name is Trevor Ngendo. Let's begin with the news here this morning, and we begin with politics, where leaders in the broad-based government are set to convene in Naivasha for a 3-day retreat as the coalition seeks to strengthen the bond between the ruling party UDA and ODM ahead of next year's general elections. The retreat will be chaired by President William Ruto and ODM leader Dr. Oburu Odinga, and will bring together governors, deputy governors, and members of parliament allied to UDA and ODM. Take a look.
The high-level political meeting scheduled to start on Monday is expected to focus on strengthening cohesion between the two political camps under the broad-based government, reviewing the progress of their partnership and charting the political direction ahead of the August 2027 general elections. Leaders will also assess progress on issues arising from the National Dialogue Committee (NADCO), whose recommendations formed the part of political understanding reached between President Ruto and the late former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Among key proposals arising from the NADCO process were the creation of offices of official leader of the opposition and the Prime Minister, and could feature in the discussions as the two parties seek to deepen their cooperation. The selection of President Ruto's running mate is also expected to attract attention during the retreat, with competing interests emerging within the two parties over who should occupy the position. Several ODM leaders have publicly backed Cooperative's Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya as a possible running mate, occasioning tensions with leaders allied to Deputy President Kithure Kindiki. Political zoning is another potentially contentious issue expected to feature in the discussions. ODM has pushed for political zoning in areas regarded as its traditional strongholds, arguing that parties within the broad-based government should respect each other's political bases. UDA, however, has maintained that parties should be allowed to field candidates across the country. Gishoke Washira, Good Morning Kenya.
Meanwhile, the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, has dismissed calls from critics asking him to leave government, maintaining that top leaders from the Mount Kenya region will remain in office to focus on development and defend the Kenya Kwanza administration's record. Speaking in Kandara, Murang'a County, the Deputy President challenged Mount Kenya residents and leaders to remain united and resolve political friction through dialogue rather than confrontation. Take a look.
The Thanksgiving Mass at Gaishanjiru Catholic Parish and centenary celebrations for St. Raphael Catholic Hospital in Kandara, Murang'a County on Sunday offered a platform for political and development messaging. Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki directly addressed calls from opposition figures urging leaders from Mount Kenya region to exit government.
Tunataka tuchukue nafasi ambayo tuko nayo serikalini kuboresha maisha ya wananchi, kusukuma maendeleo. Soko ikijengwa ni manufaa kwa wananchi. Stima ikiwekwa mahali haijafika ni manufaa kwa wananchi. Hiyo ndio kazi ya serikali. Hakuna kazi nyingine ya serikali. Na ndio tumeamua ya kwamba sisi zote tutashirikiana tutetee serikali.
Professor Kindiki called for an end to divisive politics and personal attacks, urging politicians to compete strictly on development records rather than insults.
Kwa sababu siasa ni mashindano ya uongozi na ni ya muda, na ikipita sisi tutabaki tukiwa jamii moja, tutabaki tukiwa taifa moja. Usitumike kuvuruga amani ya jamii. Wale watapita watakuwa viongozi wetu, wale hawatafaulu pia hao ni viongozi, watangojea siku ingine Mungu atawajalia.
Kindiki also pleaded with the region to remain united and resolve political friction through dialogue.
Mimi naomba kwa unyenyekevu hii jamii ya sehemu hii ya Kenya ambao tunaitwa watu ya Mount Kenya, mimi nawasihi tuendelee kukaa pamoja tukiwa kitu kimoja, na wakati kuna tofauti kidogo kidogo ya kisiasa tuongee hizo tofauti bila kuhujumu umoja.
Leaders present, among them Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome, her tourism counterpart Rebecca Miano, and a host of principal secretaries drummed up support for President William Ruto's 2027 re-election bid. The Deputy President further announced that contractors working on stalled Mau Mau roads have been fully paid, which will pave way for resumption of construction works. The leaders also led the church in fundraising for the upgrading of the Mission Hospital to a state-of-the-art status. Kamche Menza for Good Morning Kenya.
It's just a year to the national elections next year, and the politics is heating up, as you can see. More of politics, and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says that the UDA-ODM coalition is a guaranteed path for President William Ruto in the 2027 general election. Mudavadi has, however, rallied the Western Kenya region to unite behind the government and ensure President Ruto wins with a clear margin. He spoke during a UDA grassroots engagement forum in Busia County.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary-led leaders are led to the broad-based government drawn from the Western Kenya region in a grassroots engagement drive in Batula, Busia County. Mudavadi called for unity of the region to build a formidable bloc ahead of the 2027 elections.
2017 presidential election, petition. 2022 presidential election, petition. Mimi nawaomba 2027 ndugu na dada tujitokeze, tupige kura ya kidemokrasia, tuondoe kasumba ya petition ili tusipoteze wakati. Tukimaliza kura watu waanze kazi mara moja, tuepukane na petition.
The Prime CS saying the re-election of President William Ruto will guarantee continued development in the region. Mudavadi and his allies slammed the opposition figures, accusing them of practicing ethnic balkanization in their campaigns.
Kuwa kiongozi, kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, it takes much more than slogans. Slogan haiwezi kushinda kura. Ni kupiga kura kwa sababu ya sera, alafu tupate viongozi.
Sisi kama jamii tunashirikiana na Wakenya wote wenye nia nzuri kukemea siasa ya ukabila, siasa ya matusi, siasa ya kupaguana, kuambia watu nyinyi hamna shares, sijui nini. Hizo vitu hazina maana katika Kenya ya leo.
Meanwhile, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua sustained the popularization campaigns of his DCP party in Kiambu County, even as his call for unity in the Mount Kenya region. The Linda Mwananchi team was in Kakamega for second day running, where they drummed up support for Edwin Sifuna as a prospective presidential candidate in the 2027 elections.
Kila siku wanatuambia ati sisi ni viongozi wa kesho bwana. Na hata hiyo kesho wazee ndio wanataka kutuandikia vile tutaishi hiyo kesho yetu. Yaani hawezi kutuachia hata moja bwana.
Meanwhile, government spokesperson Charles Sawino has warned peddlers of misinformation that his office will put them in the right place through facts.
There's nothing wrong with criticizing government. That is why we have opposition, isn't it? But it must be constructive, it must be factual, isn't it? Yeah, it must be something that we can verify.
He spoke in Siaya County during a sustainability funds drive in aid of Siaya Press Club.
And the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has gazetted the Election Campaign Financing Regulations 2026 and the contribution and spending limits for candidates and political parties applicable for the 2027 general election. IBC is arguing that political party candidates, campaign teams and supporting persons or organizations to familiarize themselves with the applicable legal requirements and take the necessary measures to ensure compliance.
The Election Campaign Financing Regulations 2026 and the contribution and spending limits for the 2027 general elections will establish a framework for monitoring campaign contributions, donations and expenditure by political parties and candidates. Presidential campaign spending has been capped at 6.1 billion shillings. Those of governors, senators, women representatives and members of the National Assembly are determined using statutory formulas based on population, voter density, geographic size and electoral level. The regulations further restrict the maximum monetary contribution a single donor, corporate entity or interest group can make to a candidate or political party. Direct or indirect campaign contributions from foreign governments, foreign and governmental entities or overseas sources have been prohibited to prevent external political influence. The regulations will also require candidates and parties to use designated campaign finance accounts and explain sources of their funds to guard against money laundering, state resource misuse, or illicit funding in elections, among other requirements. Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IBC, says failure to comply with these regulations will attract penalties including disqualifications, fines or prosecution under the campaign financing and election laws. Tilio Marco, reporting for Good Morning Kenya.
And to a sad story, a double tragedy has struck in Genania village in Gatundu North constituency, Kiambu County, after a middle-aged man allegedly killed his daughter before taking his own life. The man, identified as Benson Juguna, is said to have been embroiled in domestic disagreements with his wife, who recently returned from abroad.
The cries of losing loved ones. Friends and family have gathered to comfort the family of the late Benson Juguna. An alleged murder-suicide has left the community engulfed in grief before the double tragedy. Juguna is said to have quarrelled with his wife, who sought refuge at a neighbour's home, leaving behind 3 children. 2 children survived the ordeal. Neighbours who woke up to the shocking discovery are still trying to come to terms with what transpired in Juguna's household.
Pata ile asubuhi ni mtu kujitoa uhai na akatoa mtoto wake. Hiyo kitu imetupiga toa, lakini hatuna la kunena. Mungu tu atufariji tu.
Tunahuzunika sana kwa sababu si kawaida kuona mtu kama huyu akichukua jukumu la kumtoa uhai mtoto wake, maana hata tuonangi sana sana mambo kama haya.
The villagers decried the rising cases of similar incidents and called on religious leaders and other counseling professionals to scale up therapy for couples.
Wale ambao wameingia katika ndoa, tungewasihi wanapokaribiwa na mambo magumu ya gender based violence wawe wakitafuta msaudi, kama ni mchungaji, kama ni mzazi, kama ni mzee wa nyumba kumi, kama ni assistant chief.
Police have commenced investigations to establish circumstances that led to the double tragedy.
A family in Lare, Igembe North Sub-County, Meru County, is appealing for government intervention to help trace and bring home their 13-year-old son, Gift Murathimi. Murathimi is said to have abandoned schooling to be a herdsman in an unknown location. The family is calling for urgent action to safeguard the minor and enable him to resume education. Take a look.
For the family, the search for their 13-year-old son has become a painful wait, with uncertainty surrounding his whereabouts and well-being. At their home in Lare, the family says the absence of Murathimi has left them desolate as they remain uncertain about his safety. His uncle, Jacob Kiremi, says the minor dropped out of Miriki Primary School in March this year before leaving home and later taking up herding work in northern grazing areas of Meru County.
Ni dhuluma sana mtoto mdogo wa miaka 12 akienda kuandikwa huko Jangwani, na mwenye ameandika huyo mtoto ni mtu ambaye hata yeye ako na watoto wake.
The family is now appealing to security agencies and other relevant authorities to urgently establish Murathimi's whereabouts and investigate the circumstances under which the minor left school and ended up working as a herder.
Tunaomba serikali iangalie hii maneno, njoo ni kama wale watu ambao hawana watu wa kuwafuatilia, hawana haki. Tunaomba serikali ifate kuangalia hii maneno kupitia ile wakubwa ambao wamesimamia mambo ya serikali, na ile yetu ipate kusaidia huyu mtoto apate kufuatiliwa kisheria, huyo mtoto mahali yako, na huyo mtu aweze kukamatwa na apate kuadhibiwa kisheria, ndio hata watoto wa watu wengine wapate kupata haki.
Meanwhile, the Kenya National Highways Authority made their debut in the Kenya Communications Sports Organization Games in style by winning the 2026 Coco Golf Tournament held at the Machakos Golf Club. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation was not left behind either, as the technical manager Job Karimi gave his competitors a run for the accolades to win the first 9.
The 2026 Kekoso Golf Tournament was held as one of the best organized tournaments in the refurbished Machakos Golf Course, as well as the most challenging one with the difficult conditions.
At CA, we are proud to be associated with all the member institutions. Today's tournament, let me say one or two things about it, was well organized. The fairways were harsh enough. And I believe we all have our stories to tell.
But the Kekoso family was up to the task, with new entrants Kenha making a statement with the dominance that saw them walk away with the overall prize, with handicap 19, Ezekiel Odede, the overall Kekoso winner, with 43 points. Lazarus Keme with handicap 20 was the men's winner with 39 points, followed by Cleo Macau. KBC's technical manager Job Karimi of handicap 25 gave them a fright on the course and eventually managed to win the first 9 with 22 points.
So much, Asanteni. I want to acknowledge that we have been approached as a ministry by Kekoso to try and support your fundraising activities. Our sector is very vibrant with all the telcos, the ICT companies. We will hold your hand in making sure that Kekoso continues to be sustainably managed, and that you can have the resources that you need.
The Kekoso lady winner was Teresia Njoki with 42 points, with Felicitas Wanyoike with handicap 35 taking the runners-up position with 36 points. Communications Authority of Kenya finished runners-up, followed by Kenya Airports Authority. The main Kekoso Games will start on the 22nd of this month in Machakos.
We really look forward to hosting you. It has begun already. From the 22nd, I'm sure you'll be here, a huge team. Karibuni sana, and Machakos is ready to host you.
All right, thank you so much for keeping us company. I'm reminded it's Kekoso and not Kekoso, as I've previously mentioned. So Kekoso, and congratulations to Job Karimi and the KBC team for giving them a run for the accolades. And I'm reminded that, remember, AFCON is still airing on KBC, and here are the results. Cameroon scored 1 against Nigeria 0, and Malawi versus Ghana 2-1. That happened yesterday. The next matches will be on Wednesday at 20 hours and 23 hours. That will be Algeria versus Malawi at 2:00 hours, and then that will be on Wednesday, and then Morocco and Cameroon at 23 hours. Here on KBC Channel 1, we are airing AFCON Eco KBC. As we bring this to a close, I want to give you a famous quote by Nelson Mandela that says that it always seems impossible until it always seems impossible until it's done. And whatever you're facing today, take the first step and keep moving and believe in a better tomorrow. My name is Trevor Ngendo. Thank you so much. Stay with KBC Channel 1. Victor is coming up with more conversations, and the Good Morning Kenya show continues. Good day and God bless you.
Hebu fikirie environment kama hii hapa Western Kenya. Eti mtu atatoka hapa aende Nairobi kusoma university to conquer the world. Mimi Andrew nitahakikisha hiyo ndoto imezimwa. Tazama hayo yote kwa Gundu KBC Tuesday to Thursday 7:30 p.m. Leo sio kesho.
It's not that when you fall in love, they'll cancel you. In this business, following someone and canceling someone are all very normal.
Explain to us. What's going on? What's with the legend of the white snake? Are you playing the game or falling in love?
Why do you put on this face?
I was just thinking, I have just joined the team. Before making any contributions, I got into so much trouble. Jianyang, what we had is in the past. Don't dwell on it.
All right, welcome back. It's now time for us to get to the discussion. Being a Monday, 10th day of August 2026. It's now 7 minutes past 7 a.m. Let's get to the discussion right now, Eye on Politics. And before then, allow me to take you through the front page of the local dailies, starting with the Star. The Star says that poor rainfall leaves Kitale and Eldoret maize crop withered. The poor rainfall leaves Kitale and Eldoret maize crop withered. That is as per the Star newspaper. What started as bad season, now food security concern. Yes, and remember that when the president was there a week ago, he said that the government was going to do something to cushion the farmers against the drought and poor yield in their farms. There is a question here of talk of president. Yes, it was a colorful weekend for the first family, where Charlene Ruto also tied the knot with her fiancé. That is Isaiah Yunge. That happened in Kilgoris over the weekend. So on the front page of the Star, that is what I have for you there. But the main read is that poor rainfall leaves Kitale and Eldoret maize farmers in agony. Okay, so that is the front page of the Star newspaper. And once Kitale is struggling, then it means there's going to be a ripple effect to that. Okay. Still on the front page, XDP Rigathi targets 100 MPs and clean sweep in Mount Kenya region. That is his target, as reported by the Star newspaper. Very fast on the front page of the Standard. The Standard is asking a question. Where are they? That is the big question on the front page of the Standard. Where are they? This is with regards to the police officers who the Standard says are on the run, implicated by the DCI in one of the most chilling murders in recent memory. Inspector Kenneth Kipkemboi and constables Elijah Kibelion and Collins Kiplangat are linked to the daylight killing of Dr. Victoria Mutiso. Detectives have also placed the three officers at different stages of the plot, with Kipkemboi and Kiplangat now on the run. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua yesterday claimed that the officers were paid 1.5 million shillings for the hit and that the two of them were arrested but released after a phone call from the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen. The chilling question now is how officers entrusted with protecting lives became part of an execution squad and why two of them remain free. That is the big question on the front page of the Standard. All right, so there's another question here, not a question per se, but a concern, health concern for the former U.S. President. Joe Biden's prostate cancer battle highlights need for early diagnosis. Former U.S. President's prostate cancer has spread to his bones. According to the Standard, bone is the most common site of spread in the advanced prostate cancer, affecting up to 9 in 10 men. Okay, that is what I have here. So on the front page is what I have, and on the inner pages you can also take a look at this story. But there's another story here. Ruto's education gamble faces tough test. Many reforms remain unsettled, leaving the president with little time to deliver before elections. And universities are in debt while high school grappling with inadequate capitation and teachers. And finally, on the front page of the Daily Nation, the Daily Nation is reporting something that I know my guest will also have a word on. 1 year to go. Yes, 1 year to go. Peter?
Yes.
1 year to go.
Yes.
Tereng, tereng. Are you feeling some goosebumps?
No, I'm ready.
You're ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very much ready.
Very good. So 1 year to go. That is to the general election. And actually, the Daily Nation has just highlighted some of the timelines there from August 10th, where the publication of limits for expenditure, contributions, and donations. On December 10th, it will be the issuance of compliance certificate to compliant political parties. And on February 9th, it will be the deadline for public officers intending to vie to resign from office. That is February next year, February 9th. Mark that date. And on March 16th, political parties to submit membership lists to IEBC. And May 9th, that is next year, the independent candidates to submit their names and symbols. So if you are an independent candidate, you have up till 9th of May 2027 to submit your name and the symbol of your party. Very good. And of course, something that is quite troubling here, gentlemen, that I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gentlemen who have been highlighted on the front page of the Daily Nation, but there is only one lady, that is Martha Karua, vying for the top seat. Frank, what do you make of that?
I cannot see President William Ruto.
The president here.
Shining
exactly,
others.
yes.
or the one who's up.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yes. Because he's the incumbent.
I think that still highlights how far we are in terms of implementing our constitution, specifically on the issue of gender equality. Because I expect at this time that more ladies will come out and challenge for these top positions. But you see, it's only Martha Karua, senior counsel, who is on that front line. But be it as it may, there is still room for many others to come, because we need to see to it that the Constitution of Kenya is implemented to the latter, and be able to grapple the opportunities that it brings forth to Kenyans in terms of positions of leadership in the country, because we actually need to see a change. We've been having a patriarchal form of society where the men are dominant. So we need to encourage ladies and young people also. I'm happy to see Sifuna there.
Yeah, he's here. Okay.
To see Sifuna there.
First of all, Peter Ndungu. Peter Ndungu is a political analyst. He's also vying for Kiambu senatorial seat.
Yes.
All right. And also I have Davis Binoloch. Davis Binoloch is ODM Youth League, member of ODM Youth League. Davis, karibu sana.
Thank you.
And of course, Ojari Frank, who is an advocate of the High Court. Karibu sana. And finally, I have Busiori Mtetezi. Ebu jitete Mtetezi. Why don't we have women on the front line? It's an open field. Yes, I know there is, in the Constitution, there is that space for women, all right, women rep. But on the big seat, I hope we needed to have more faces than...
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And even that alone, as you can see, Martha is lost in that big line for men.
Yes.
It is not a constitutional problem. It's a societal problem. We cannot address societal challenges through the constitution unless there is a societal attempt, which then we can use constitutional means to enhance.
Which is not there?
It is not there. The first person to run for office, for presidential office, was I think, Ngilu, Charity Ngilu. And she did very well. Since then, there have been attempts, but very moot attempts.
Yeah.
And maybe this time we try to enhance the participation of women to the extent that we entrench it in law to have anyone running for president pick a running mate as a woman or vice versa. That we will have a woman at the top, and possibly a Tanzania moment may happen. And we have a suluhu. But is it the aspiration of community?
That is a big cue, because look at it this way. If you want to entrench the Constitution, that, and you know how ethnical our politics is. We vote or we pick our... Actually, the choice of a running mate determines who is the president in Kenya. So if you had to pick a woman who is a running mate, you would imagine. You know, the draft of the Constitution, Wakil would tell you, was they knew what they were doing.
The drafters were politicians, sadly, who looked at ethnic mobilization and ethnic balancing.
Yeah.
But there's no denial. Women are also ethnic leaders. They are very strong women. If today if there was a mandatory choice to have a woman as a pair, certain women will emerge very strongly. We have very strong women in this country.
Yeah.
Only that the whole burden of running for office, for president, is for the candidate himself, not for the running mate. The running mate is like, is just a pace setter, but the real person who uses his resources, networks, experience to rally a whole country to have a bargain at the top is the candidate himself.
Yeah.
We should have put a premium on the running mate. It is not there, it's cosmetic. For now, it's cosmetic. But if we had put a premium that for you to be chosen as running mate, you must form your own party, mobilize certain level of numbers, have a certain regional influence.
Yeah.
Then today, some of these people ranked there as probably contenders will disappear. And we will have very serious people, either for president or running mate. But as things stand out now, it is the president who does the heavy lifting, or the presidential candidate.
Yeah.
The running mate is just picked to show balance and to show region or whatever.
Do you
Actually,
think
someone can win president without running mate.
We've seen how contentious this is. Let me come to you, Davis. Davis Binolochi is ODM Youth League. We all know how contentious the running mate position can be, even in the counties. From where I come from, they say that it's rotational because the governor came from this region. It has to go to the other side. You have to pick a running mate from this clan. That clan cannot. You know that game? Go ahead.
Thank you so much for hosting us this morning.
Yeah.
And I think what I can say is that we have a lot of work to do, but little time, because Victor, this did not start today. You see, long time ago, women used to be like inferior in the society. Just like black people in our society, the whites was deemed to be superior than the blacks. And it got into our head. And today we are still struggling with that. Everything white is superior. Manchester is superior than Gor Mahia. Or things like that. And so as it was...
all the way.
As it was...
Maybe take back that one.
No, okay. You see, let me tell you, Victor, yesterday I was watching Man U fans and Arsenal fans playing here at Nyayo Stadium, Man U fans and Arsenal fans. Gor Mahia fans in England cannot play against Ingwe fans in England. So we deem them superior. We deem England superior more than our own leagues. That is what I meant, not literally. So women were deemed inferior. And there arose people who spoke about it. There was the Fanny Liu Hemers, there were the Martha Karuas, there were Ongari Madais, the Margaret Thatchers, the Queen Elizabeth, and they showed us that women can also do quite a good work if they are given opportunity. But we are still not there yet. And that's why I'm saying still a lot of work to do, little time. So it is a matter of financing the women, giving them civic education, more so the young women who are still in school, telling them that women can, giving them opportunities, rare opportunities, taking them into the political parties and giving them positions in the political parties, in the top committees. And also, of course, if we go ahead, maybe to consult the lawyer and maybe we change the laws of our nation. Of course, now we are talking about Vision 2060 and say that for you to run, the vice must be from different gender. It happens in our universities. So I think we can get there, Victor, so that also when we talk about equality and equity, we talk about it in all facets. Yes.
Okay. So Peter, allow me to come back to this discussion.
Yes.
I started by asking you, 1 year to go.
Yes.
Are we ready?
We are very ready, and I can say that IBC confirmed, is it yesterday or the day before yesterday, that also they are ready. As from where I stand as politicians, we are ready. We have started doing what is called crowd mobilization. We have started talking to our people And this is a continuous process whereby in my own vision, I'm saying that me, I belong to Team Kujituma. So I'm going to the ground, talking to the people, addressing their issues, and doing what I'm supposed to do. So me, I can say that we are ready and the process has started, the calendar is out, and then there'll be a continuous process of saying this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do, and we are trying to do our level best to make sure that these votes, as many votes comes to us. And also I'm going to say that you have just read there that the opposition leader in our Mount Kenya region, me, I belong to UDA, Kenya Kwanza. I support His Excellency William Ruto because I believe his vision and mission, and especially now what he produced as Vision 2060, which is talking about 5 trillion infrastructure fund. And by the way, Victor, there is one thing I would like to tell you today, that when we inherited this country from the former regime, this country was minus $2 billion. Today, as we are talking in the infrastructure fund, we are plus 2.75 billion. So we are doing something. We are on the journey, right track towards the right direction. You're talking about 5 trillion. Yes, we are 6% there, but we are headed there. So we are doing the right thing at the right time. He's talking about sweeping 100 seats. Yes, we are there. We have had him, and we are on the ground working very hard. And I can assure you, he will not get 50% of that, who he's talking about. Because we are there, we are talking, we are addressing the issues which are affecting our people, and we are going to do anything possible to make sure that our people will give us the second term as far as President William Ruto is concerned for the continuity of this vision of this country. And the most important thing which was read on 2060 vision was that 2060 vision will be non-partisan, non-political, that is going to be steered by any government which come into power without considering the political party or political class. This is going to empower our people through the right way. You heard the Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, the way he was saying that by 2060 we want people's life to be totally transformed, that no favor will be done to our people, like the way things are happening today. That's in some of the region, you know, people are preserving, assuming that for us to have a tarmac load, for us to have the other thing, we need to be in this kind of arrangement, you need to be this kind of government. But by 2060, it will be a right of all Kenyan. So I think we are ready, as is about continuity. We have talked about our vision, we have talked about our plans, and the most important is that talking about 10,000 megawatts, talking about 5 trillion infrastructure fund, I think that was still our area vision for this country. So I think we are on the right track, and we are going to do anything possible, talking to our people, pledging with them, convincing them, telling, and trying to fight the narrative of propaganda, narrative of tribalism, and all the other narrative to make sure that we get our second term and the president continue, and also Peter Ndung'u to get his first term to serve as the senator Kiambu County, and to make sure that I'm going to bring the wealth of experience and people-driven leadership, because that is what we are lacking. Imagine some of our leaders in this country, not only Kiambu County, but in this country, people are not even campaigning. They are following a party leader so that they can be elected. No vision, nothing. We have to move away from that. People must start voting for people who have said, this is what I'm going to do for you people. That issue of following a party leader, you are just holding on to him. You cannot even come to the ground. You are just appearing where the party leader is. Must come to an end. And this is not only Kiambu County. This is not only in Kenya country.
Peter, let me cut you short. What is ideal?
The ideal is Kenyan citizens, Kenyan voters, to start asking the hard question to the people who are offering themselves for this elective post.
To who?
Give us vision.
To who? To the leaders, right?
Leaders like me.
Okay.
Or maybe him is contesting in a particular area, you want a particular seat, maybe member of parliament for a particular constituency. Let them ask him, what are you going to do for us? And then after that, at the election, if he wins or I win, then after that we have a debate that you say you are going to do this.
And that's in that clarification, Peter. So Kenyans should move away from following a particular individual, personalities, right?
Yes.
And start adhering to the party ideologies.
No, I'm saying this. The party ideology are there and they are very important.
Okay.
But who is the driver? Peter is contesting for senator seat Kiambu. Peter, you are in UDA well, thank you. Now, who do you want to do for us? can you give us your manifesto, you as Peter, not the UDA party, but you as Peter, in line with the UDA manifesto, what is your manifesto as our incoming senator? Because let me tell you, the moment we are elected, we go to either Senate or to the Parliament or the County Assembly. We are addressed as Member of Parliament for Ugenya, Member of Parliament for Kiku, Senator for Kiambu, Senator for Vihiga, for the other place. We are not addressed as ODM Senator for, or UDA Senator for, no. Because now the parties are vehicles which take us from, for us to be elected. But after that, we must hold people accountable.
Even before that, Musiori, can Kenya's politics move beyond election to election thinking? That is just my simple question. Can we move beyond that? Because we are talking about Vision 2060. The president will be flagging off that move in the next 2 days. That's on Wednesday. But can we move beyond election to election thinking?
It's hard because it's our culture. And it's a good thing, by the way. Our neighboring countries don't have that culture we have of thinking election after election. But look at how they suffer in terms of narrow democratic space. The problem is making everything look like a political thing. Otherwise, Kenya is better having that election mood as a weapon of trying to tell the politician that don't think it will take too long. We are soon coming for you. That will make them wake up and do something for Wananchi. The only sad reality is that we haven't exited the ethnic blocks yet. We are not thinking national. We are not holding the politician accountable. And we just think that we are only trying to hold the president accountable and not the other politicians. For example, and I'm not referring specifically to Sifuna, but I would have expected Sifuna, for example, to give us an exit report for his work as Senator for Nairobi. Have you succeeded as Senator for Nairobi? What are hits and misses? Then you tell us, given a bigger opportunity, I will do more, for example. Okay? His predecessors, Sonko and Sakaja, while they didn't give us a report, they actually transited to be governors, which means they got an endorsement of what they had done as senators, for you to be given a higher premium position. Okay? Now, you will hear Senator Sifuna and many other MPs saying Ruto one term. But they're also serving one term, and they have not told us whether they will defend their position successfully or they are trying to seek an exit strategy. Why are we trying to hold only the president accountable and not MCA, MP, senator, governor? Okay?
Yes.
I've heard even some governors shouting one term. And our governor has resources just like the president, of course not equal, but resources. So the only way of holding the politician accountable is to have the Kenyan mass judge politicians and hold them accountable. But we must resist any politician trying to hold the other accountable while themselves, in their current positions, they are not being accountable. For example, if you take an example, others have served as vice presidents before. What is their track record? And when they come to the public, what do they really say? Forget about what we will want to say about them. What can you say, like, I was once vice president, this is what I achieved? And an interesting scenario is when I hear everyone running for president other than President William Ruto is said to be sponsored by a former president. And all of them, none of them voted for that president for the 3 elections, actually 4 elections he attempted. But another character came very viciously, campaigned, then they disappeared to a certain ethnic bloc, and then they become irrelevant. Each one running today. Let us take an example of Matiang'i. Just came from the US, made very good inroads, then disappeared to the Kisii bloc. Then another one has come. Kalonzo is trying to make an inroad, then again retreats to Eastern. And then there is Sifuna. I mean, the last last rallies are in Western. He tried to do something in Thika, and I was very happy for him. Then he was warned and told, you go and consolidate Western. He goes back to Western. we are now going to have tribal kings who will then come up and try to unseat a president. And then if they defer midway, then we will have a tribal president. What we need to have are structures, national structures, where people, either you create your own party or a coalition of parties. Yeah. That party should have the Vision 2030 the president is telling us should not just be a party affair, but can also be sponsored by parties.
Yes.
So that any party that forms government will have something to execute. And this is the only president, by the way, elected on a manifesto. Bottom up, tells us he will do housing, and he's trying to do those things. The only problem we have with him, or a certain cross-section of Kenyans have with against the president, is how he executes. For example, yes, we need houses, but do you need to tax me to do those houses? Those are questions, and I would expect the opposition to say, yes, we will do houses without taxing you.
Okay.
Good. But you cannot just sing must go every day without telling us what exactly you will do and how you will do it.
I mean, look at it this way. Davis, I asked a question, if Kenyan politics can move beyond election to election, and he's also given his side of the story quite elaborately. But can we get out of that? Because we all know how Kenyan politics is made. Is it good? Is it healthy for the economy? Is it good for our development track record and agenda as a nation, or what?
Victor, I don't think it's good. Because then, you see, Victor, what I think is that we need to have a plan, maybe a long-term plan. And we need to make politics less glamorous and less about hatred and more about bipartisanship and more patriotism. So that when there are things that we need to do together as government and opposition, we do them together. When the time for campaigns reaches, we go out and campaign. But what we are seeing, Victor, is that people don't really do a bipartisan approach. Because, Victor, let's say, for example, today, God forbid, Al-Shabaab attacks our nation. We need the minds of the opposition, and we need people in government. We need all of them. Let us come up with a solution fast. But you do know what the opposition will do and what the government will do? The opposition will say, no, see what Ruto is doing to our country. Al-Shabaab is attacking us. We need to come together fast, solve the issue, then we can blame later. And vice versa in terms of development. Now President Ruto is talking about Vision 2060. We need to come together. I actually think we need to come together, both government and opposition, and talk about our nation. Where did we come from in 1963? Where were we in 1982? What did we achieve in 1990? What did we achieve in 2002? What did we achieve in 2010 with the new constitution? What happened in 2024 with the Gen Z? And what about 2026? What can we do together? And what are the aspirations of this nation in the year 2050? What are the aspirations of this nation in the year 2060? Can we bring the brains of Edwin Sifuna? Can we bring the brains of Fred Matiang'i, wherever he got it from the World Bank? Can we bring Mukisa Kitui, who's been a good servant of this nation? Can we bring Maraga, who's been emeritus CJ, and talk about the nation? Can we bring William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua? Can we bring Winnie Odinga on board and Mama Ida Odinga? Can we bring them together and talk about the nation? That is what we should be doing. And Victor, if you hear, and I follow a lot about American elections, if you hear the presidents after each and after every election, President Barack Obama, after being elected, he'll tell you that I've received a gracious call from John McCain, and he's agreed that we'll now come together and work together for the nation. That is how things should work. If President Ruto wins in 2027, should call Edwin Sifuna and Rigathi Gachagua and tell them, okay, you had manifestos. What were in your manifestos? Can you bring them and we sort out this nation together? Yes. If President Ruto loses in 2027 and Edwin Sifuna wins, let Edwin Sifuna call President Ruto. President Ruto, you had a manifesto. What did you envision this nation to be?
All right.
And let us work together. So, Victor, in short, politics after election should be null and void. We do politics after 4 years after election.
In Kenya?
We should try and do that. Because when are the campaigns supposed to start?
Okay, all right. I get your point. But you talked about something to do with the US. Their system is completely different from ours. I mean, look at the political parties they have. Exactly. How many do we have? Clocking to almost 100. More than 100. And some actually are even struggling to get registered with no time left.
Victor, let me answer this in very short words.
Let's just take a quick break. We still have much to talk about. I'll come back to you.
Where Diogo pushes it forward. She's going to barge her way into the penalty box, and the stop, and the follow, and the goal for Côte d'Ivoire. I mean, that's physical football. Look at this. And there we go. They're going to check. This is going to take up, but she's coming from behind. But still, it's not controlled by the Algerian. She's already made her mind up, Shamira Nabata. It's a goal for the Côte d'Ivoire, and it has been given. No contact with the leg, contact with the ball. Let's have a look at this again. Ineos Conan gets in there. That's the angle that you can see that it was clearly driven in first by the Ivorian. 4 goals.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday from 10 p.m. and a rerun every Tuesday from 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Jina! Makia watoto wa siku hizi wakiwa nasumbua. Usikose kuona Gundu KBC Channel 1 every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Ujionee hivi vituko vya watoto wa siku hizi wanaosumbua wazazi na mengine mengi. Keep it Gundu. Jina! Wananiita Gundu, wakita wengine wata.
All right. Okay, the gentleman speaking in the background is Peter Dung. Okay, karibu sana, welcome back. Now let's continue the discussion. So, Wakili, There's a question that I want to ask you. If it's possible to have the development records, based on also, I still ask the same question, whether we can move from election to election kind of politics and thinking. And if it's possible so that we can have some of the national vision that actually even the president talked about in the Vision 2060, anchored in law, and just to have it kind of a constitutional kind of framework, that it's predictable from one regime to the next.
So, first of all, I've had some interesting statements from my panelists. I thought there was team 1 term, team 2 term. Now I've had kuna team kujituma.
Yes. Team kujituma.
But then we must also, Victor, appreciate the kind of a space that the country operates within. We are in a democratic space, and our constitution is based on democracy, which forms the basis, or rather the pillar, in which most of the provisions are anchored on. For example, when you look at the Bill of Rights, that's just a democratic space where people can express themselves in different ways, and also claim that which they so feel like belongs to them naturally. Now, when you talk about moving from election to election, that has to do with the plans that the regimes that come in power have. For example, during independence, we had a vision. And President Kenyatta was talking about kuondoa ujinga, kumaliza umaskini, na kuhakikisha hakuna magonjwa. So that was in itself a vision. So the question we are asking ourselves is, how much have we achieved, or how did we perform in terms of those three things? Did we actually, as a country, do away with ugonjwa? Did we do away with umaskini? Did we ensure that people are, poverty is not there? So those are the kind of questions that we need to ask ourselves, because we are still struggling with communicable diseases. We still have outbreaks of typhoid and such things. And then President Moi Kibaki came in 2002, and there he launched what is called Vision 2030, which was anchored on 3 pillars also. The political sphere, the social sphere, and the economic sphere. The question is, how much have we achieved as far as those 3 spheres are concerned? Political-wise, people are able to form, so much political parties, enjoy so much political rights and all that. And I think we have done well. On the social sphere, have we attained what is called social justice? Have we ensured that the rule of law is at all times upheld? And all those things. And those are things entrenched in the Constitution. When it comes to the economic sphere, we are looking at how can mwananchi be able to, move from poverty lines to middle class and all that. So the question is, have we done? How have we performed in terms of, the economic sphere? Now, the president is talking about Vision 2060. My question is, how are we moving from Vision 2030 to Vision 2060? What is the scorecard in terms of Vision 2030? Given that he's, formed part of the regime for the past, now let me say 15 years. He has been in almost the highest office. He was the deputy president, now he's the president. What milestone in that capacity has he made to just ensure that within those 15 years that he has been in power and in all those positions, something significant has been done in terms of Vision 2030. Now, as we move to Vision 2060, I will be interested to, first of all, get to understand from the president how we have performed as a country as far as Vision 2030 is concerned. Now, election to election, our space, as I said, is a democratic space, and it gives the Constitution now gives the the common person, or rather those who don't form government, the right to hold the government accountable, and that's their right. So our Constitution envisages a space where there is going to be an opposition. And what is the work of this opposition? It's to keep the government on its toes. So we must now appreciate the fact that we might never move out from an election to election. We might never move out from a campaign mode, given that there is work to be done by the opposition, and that is to criticize the government. And so what is the work of the government in terms of that criticism? It is to look at it and borrow heavily from it. Perhaps I would like to see a more mature democracy, a more mature people, a more integral persons that when you are criticized, you can be able to, look back and check on what is happening.
Yeah.
For example, we could not have gotten to what happened in 2024 June because the finance bill was there and the voices were there. I remember views were collected, and all those views that were collected, 80% of them were like, we don't want this, please make it this way. But you see now the president turned a blind ear to what those views were and proceeded to go to parliament, and we ended up where we are. So the question is, could we have evaded that? The answer is yes. That is by listening to the people, and that is what democracy does. That today I can be able to tell you that I don't like this word.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me that pour it down or throw it away. You can be man enough, you can be humble enough to come and say, let me give you another one.
Okay. Peter.
Yes.
What's your take?
We have a problem in this country which we must say as it is. That the great might of this world say that as politicians focus on the next election, leaders should focus on the next generation. That's now where our president and our party, we are paying the price for. We have said that we have secured democracy in this country. Now is the high time for us as a country to secure prosperity as far as the Vision 2060 is concerned. But we have a lot of opposition against that. And I think the journey, we are headed there. Because at the end of the day, I don't think all generations which are coming will be like us, that the moment you are elected and the moment you are sworn in today, tomorrow people start strategizing how they are going to remove you. You have not even settled in the office. You have not done anything. I think it's the high time for us as leaders to be great leaders and start focusing on the next generation. How? This way. For example, like us as the Kenya Kwanza, as the UDA government, we are saying that we are focusing on 2060, and we are cocksure that most of us will not be there. Other leaders will be, and the next generation will be there. And we want to make life better for the next generation. And that is the price we are paying. That's why you see everybody is attacking President William Ruto, because we have to pay the price of that. We are moving from a place where politicians were comfortable, politicians were not held accountable, politicians are just doing whatever they want. They were always running away with it. But now we are saying, no, excuse me here. Everybody must be accountable. We must stop focusing on the next general election and now start focusing on the next generation. Come up with ideas, come up with plans, come up with manifesto which is focused on the next generation. For example, we are saying 5 trillion in the infrastructure fund. Today we have started the journey. We just have 6%, which is $2.75 billion. Now we are headed, and what we want is 5 trillion. Can we focus on that? Now we have the plan. Now the most unfortunate thing which you are facing today is that I am not a prophet of doom, but I don't see any manifesto coming from our opposition. I don't see it. Because as we are saying, this is our plan. We have repeatedly said it. Even the other day when President came, the other people, our opposition, were expecting us to sack ministers, to sack PS. No. We have now to have the serious debate of focusing on the next generation and having the issue which can solve the issues of Kenyans. We have told President time and again, President, stop focusing on the policy, focus on the next generation by coming up with vision which is going to touch the heart of Kenyans and empower them the right way.
But this is the question to all of you, gentlemen. Can we have a long-term national vision? Yes, we need to focus from next general election to the next vision. But can we have a long-term national vision without strengthening the rule of law? Mtetezi?
Yes, we can. And we have always had. In fact, Vision 2030 was a vision drawn around the year 2000. 99, the clamor began in 99, and by 2000, it was drawn. The only departure from that is what Raila had coined, and may his soul rest in peace, as an intergenerational conclave, which he said we should call each other to a table, all of us, rich, poor, minority, majority, governing and governed, and rethink about the next future. And much as he's departed, the president has said, let now, the Vision 2030 which we are using now was done by experts only. And he called those experts, because I know Professor Nyong'o was very instrumental in developing the current vision, as maybe then Minister for Planning.
Yes.
Now what the president is saying, let us appreciate what they have done and what they think we need to do, but can we now involve every citizen? Can we have everyone come to the table and give their opinion on where they want to be or their children should be in the next 30 years? Okay? And that is not a party affair or ruling party affair. It's a question of us coming together as citizens to decide our destiny. Then the politics can fit in. So the vision is there. For example, the current, we are trying to address a question of affordable housing and universal health care and supported agriculture and other interventions. These were in Vision 2030. But will 2060 be still, are we going to 2060 being agriculture dependent, rain-fed agriculture dependent, or is there interventions we need to do? Are we going to 2060 still struggling to secure a modern housing? Or can we make a modern housing a basic right, and then we work towards that? Are we going to 2060 with certain regions not developed because they are in the wrong side of politics? Like they have never elected a president, and so they are denied development. Are we going to 2060 with certain regions feeling like they deserve much than others? I mean, look at Thika Superhighway. It has been done 3 years. The Thika Superhighway, 3 years. But who are they serving? Yes, they are serving Nairobians, but they are serving a certain region. Okay? They are serving a certain region. Now that we are doing the expansion of the Nakuru Marava Highway,
Summit,
we're also trying to do the SGR going to certain regions. I mean, is it okay with others? Do they feel that now a certain segment of the society is now being given more attention than in the past? And are we going to 2060 with that kind of mentality? Or can we say any development in one region is a development for Kenya? Okay? So for us to get there, we must call each other to a table and say, politics aside, there is a Kikuyu in Nyanza who is doing very well. There is a Luo in Kiambu who's doing very well. And so a road done to one corner does not mean that it's favoring a certain community, but it's opening up Kenya for everyone. And so for us to get to 2060 with clarity, all of us must be involved. Unless the one we are discussing, Vision 2030, is very popular. But who did it? It was done by few experts, of course in good faith, but they did not involve the many people we want to involve now. Because even the Constitution now calls for the participation of people. The one we had when we were doing the current vision, it was the old Constitution. It never called for public participation. This one has to. Okay?
Okay, right, Wakili. I mean, look at it that way. The rule of law has to be adhered to. But he's talked about something to do with, regions. That is now politics and leadership, how it can influence. So we are talking about Vision 2060. Let's talk about rule of law, leadership and politics, how it will influence the long-term national vision.
One thing that takes me back is the fact that our leaders do not read the Constitution and even make an attempt to implement. Because when you're talking about whatever he has said, a certain road being constructed to serve a certain region, the Constitution talks about equal distribution of resources. So we need to have someone in power who will recognize that actually there has to be equal distribution of resources. And also we have 2 levels of government. We have the national government, we have the county government. So So what are the roles of the national government in terms of development, and what are the roles of the county government in terms of development? So that we are able now to see development distributed across the nation equally. But when we have a leader who has the mind of a region, then that is where the problem sets in, and we will never get from out of there. We just need to read this constitution holistically and adhere to the provisions therein, so that if it is about doing roads, every financial year we can have roads distributed across the nation. When it comes to, let's say, something like education, and now there is Vision 2060. You know, we are asking ourselves, what is it that we need to do to ensure that every child has access to education? Right now, schools are suffering. You know, the government is not giving capitation enough. The government is delaying capitation to schools. So we are asking ourselves, as far as that plan is there, and you see, the right to education is entrenched in the Constitution. The question is, why then should the national government delay, you know, school capitation, for example, yet there is a right to education that needs to be facilitated urgently, such that learning does not stop? When it comes to healthcare, what is it that we have not done? And what is the position of the national government and the county government as far as healthcare is concerned? We have seen the SHA. What are the misses? What are the hits? Where can we, you know, where can we come in as a people and have a candid discussion and just iron out issues? When it comes to public participation, as my friend has said, you know, the Constitution gives that right, and there has been attempts previously. You know, we had the BBI. We were almost going to have an intergenerational conclave, as was coined by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and may his soul rest in peace, and all that. But then, what is the role of the views that Kenyans give as far as issues that are touching on their lives directly are concerned? For example, the issue of the affordable housing. What have Kenyans said? Because this is something that affects them directly. What have Kenyans said about it? Vis-a-vis the government trying to force it down the throats of people. And I came here and asked the question, how do you tell me to, you know, have a house, yet I have already built my house in the village, and I've worked so hard, acquired a plot somewhere in Kajiado, and I've put up a 3-bedroom house. So where then am I going to fit in as a person to come and, you know, borrow the idea? But at the same time, what is the government doing in terms of eradicating the, you know, the slums that we have around? Mukuru kwa Njenga, Mukuru kwa Ruben, Madhare, and all those things. What has the government done in terms of ensuring that those people who are living in those areas have access to affordable housing? So those are the actual questions that we as a people, we as a nation, we as a government need to ask ourselves and see to it that we need to meet the people's demands. They might be diverse, but we must also be flexible enough to be able to fit into their views. Finally, Victor, what is the space of, you know, in terms of Vision 2030? What is the space or the place of technology? How is technology coming in to help us be able to realize all these things? Remember, Vision 2030, we did not envision a Kenya that is more enlightened, a Kenya that is more, there is ready access to information due to technology. We looked at a president who will come into the country and give, through the government, give that which the people require. And that is what was happening. So what is the place of technology in terms of Vision 2030? What have we achieved? What do we aim to achieve? Where are we? We appreciate the fact that now Kenya is, let me say, 60%, you know, access to internet. Then what is the government going to do about it so that this internet, this technology helps the government, the country grow or develop upwards?
Predicting the future in 2060 is so difficult.
Yes.
could even imagine that you're going to have AI today. I mean, it's just based on the pillars. Still not so sure what the president is going to base.
But if we take this document called the Constitution and read it holistically and become honest in trying to implement what it says, we can actually have a plan. The only problem I have with these visions is that they are not binding.
Okay.
That is why every regime will come and will have their own ideas and will do whatever they want to do.
I want us to do something. Where's your camera? Can you just say, let's take a break? To your camera. Just say, let's take a break. To your camera.
Yes?
Say, Maiv. Let's take a break.
Okay, let's take a break.
All right, stay with us.
Good work to spread the ball out wide. Bellamy into the middle once again, back to West Ham United player. Chip over the shop, it's nice to Bendress. Bendress gets the ball back. She's been knocked off her feet there. Algeria with space, just inside of their own half. Looking up, looking for options. Ould Brahim. Trabzonspor player. The Total Energies Woman of the Match. Congratulations to Melissa Betty. Congratulations to Amira Ould Brahim of Trabzonspor. She's the Total Energies Woman of the Match. Just look at these scenes here.
It's not that when you fall in love, they'll cancel you. In this business, following someone and canceling someone are all very normal.
Explain to us. What's going on? What's with the legend of the white snake? Are you playing the game or falling in love?
Why do you put on this face?
I was just thinking. I have just joined the team. Before making any contributions, I got into so much trouble. Jian Yang, what we had is in the past. Don't dwell on it.
All right, welcome back. Now to the final tail end of this discussion. Davis, I know you're a gentleman and you can execute this in 2 minutes. So the question I want to ask you, is it possible to have, not even possible, but how different should the Vision 2060 be from Vision 2030? We had 3 pillars, remember?
Yes.
So imagine you're sitting next to Professor Nyong there, or the panel of experts. How would you make that vision different?
Victor, in 1960, I know you said 2 minutes, there were patriots who came and fought for the nation. And today we have our own flag and our own black president and a Supreme Court judge who is black. And we've built statues for those people. In 1982, there are people who fought for multi-party democracy, and today I'm from ODM, he's from UDA, from WIPA, and we have all these political parties because of those people who fought. That generation, we are proud of them. In the year 2002, running to 2010, there are people who fought for the new constitution, and today we have a new constitution. Victor, in 2024, and that's where I'm coming with the Vision 2060, the young people who came on the streets of Nairobi, in Kisumu, in Kirinyaga, in Kisii, and they said that to end with this kind of governance, we want a new kind of governance. And Victor, this vision is our vision. It's a vision of Gen Z and some millennials. And what I'll do different with this vision is...
what do you mean some millennials?
Okay.
He's exiting the rest. Are you trying to exit some people from the vision?
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that all these generations had a part to play.
Yes.
in the life of this nation. And so it's now part of the Gen Zs to do their part with this vision. And that's why I have an appeal that this vision be made 50% of the people who are going to build this vision to be the Gen Zs. The millennials have had their time building the new constitution. The Gen Alphas and the Gen Z, boomers and blah, 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 have had their time building this nation. So I think first, have 50% Gen Zs building this kind of vision. Secondly, there are two things, and I don't want the President and Sifuna disagreeing on these things. We have to adhere to the freedoms must be in this, in this vision. So that how do we envision this country 2060 in terms of our freedoms? And now Sifuna should also answer, how do we envision this country in terms of development? Let him not say that we don't want shiny things. We need those shiny things. How do we envision this country in terms of infrastructure? So I want us to merge, Victor, the freedoms with development, so that we have the hardware and the software going into 2020.
Are they part of the 3 pillars?
They are part of the 3 pillars, but I had the president
just singled out.
No, I'm just telling you the truth.
Out a bullet from every pillar.
Let me tell you the truth. I've had the president talking much about we've done a lot in terms of our freedoms. Now it's time to do a lot in terms of our development. That is now the wrong way. And I've had Sifuna saying that now the justice and the freedoms are more important than the shiny things. So I want them to merge all these two things, and they have to go in tandem. Now in the Vision 2060. And another thing in the Vision 2060 is issue of corruption. I've not heard them talk about it in the bullseye. And also the issue of tribalism. How do we see this nation in the year 2060 in terms of our diversity, in terms of unity and prosperity? So those are some of the things I would like to see in this vision, and a lot of focus. And of course, what we've talked about, all of us, is to constitutionalize the vision, so that one government does not come and change the vision, so that it is anchored in law.
There's a blueprint.
And it must be participatory, so that when it is anchored in law, Sifuna must agree with the vision, so that it doesn't come and change it. So we must have Sifuna participating. We must have Rigathi Gachagua participating. We have someone from Turkana participating. We must have someone from Nyakach participating. We must have someone from Maraboy participating. We must have journalists participating, lawyers participating, and women and Muslims and Jews and Christians and Hindus if they are in this nation. So we must have this vision to be participatory.
Thank you. The number of times you've called Sifuna on this set.
No,
Peter. How should we make it differently?
We have to change lemon into lemonade. A lemon is a bitter fruit. Lemonade is a sweet fruit. We have started the journey. I'm just going to give an example in 3 things. That one, we should not waste pain. Pain means that we have suffered enough. So we should not waste that pain by just focusing on things which cannot help us. We thank His Excellency the President William Ruto, because he has started with the first or second step. Today we have the infrastructure fund, which has $2.75 billion saved there. The second thing is that we should look at the bigger picture. We should look at the bigger picture, not the bad picture. What are called tribal chiefs, they always say they look at the bad picture. As a country, we should now start focusing on the bigger picture. How are we going to achieve this Vision 2060 positive for us? And the third thing, we must bury our dead. Our dead means that we cannot be talking about somebody who was impeached, sijui something which was done, sijui by who, sijui building the mortuary and the other. Let me finish.
Just a minute. Just the bigger picture, Peter. That's the bigger picture.
Yes.
We have got 3 social pillars.
Yes.
The 3 pillars in the in the Vision 2030.
Yes.
The social, political, and
economy.
Apart from calling names, how does it affect that person in the, Kenya, Beacon 1, the other side of Kenya and Ethiopia border? That's what I'm asking.
In fact,
so that we move away from the discussion of personalities.
I told you one thing when I commented earlier, that His Excellency the President William Ruto is paying the price of moving this country from the tribal chiefs to the national picture. He's looking this country in a national way. Because, for example, like in hospitals, we are constructing 70 new level 4 hospitals in the whole country. When you come to affordable housing, they are being constructed in 40 counties out of 47. Roads are cutting across counties from Nairobi all the way to Garissa, to Moyale, to there. From the other one, from Nairobi here all the way to Mau Summit, all the way to the border on the Kisumu side, all the way to the border on the other Eldoret side. So, and also the railway line.
Yes.
So we are focusing on the national picture. And that's the price which I can vividly say here without any doubts in my mind. That's the price President William Ruto is paying of now removing this country from the tribal chiefs to the national and greater picture.
So if you are to giving in a chance to sit on that table, how should that vision be different from this one? You've not answered my question.
One, we must involve all the stakeholders.
That is one.
As it was stated, it must be involve all the stakeholders.
Thank you.
The
Number
second
two?
thing is that us as Kenyans, we must own it.
Very good. Number 3?
Number 3, we should put the right resources on those ideas to make sure that whatever must be done has been done and the resources is there and it's realistic at the same time.
You've answered my question. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
You're a good man.
Thank you.
Wakili. How different should it be? Look at it this way. We have got so many legal minds put together, the technocrats and the think tanks who are there. Look at it this way. In the year 2060, you talked about it, but how different should it be? Leave alone the 3 pillars that we have.
You see, we must first of all understand history, our current state, and then look at the future. My problem is we have not understood how far we have done in terms of Vision 2030. I'll be able to appreciate what has been done so that we are able to see the misses and be able to enhance and come up with a better plan. That's now what we call Vision 2060. It has not been launched. I don't know what is there, but I am eager to know what is going to be there so that we can be able to look at what we have done, what we have not done.
I see what you've done there. Thank you. Yes, Mtetezi. In 30 seconds.
In 2060, I want us to have a complete paradigm shift. Like right now, a good percentage of the citizenry are educated and they are eligible for a job. But I don't want to see a situation where one person is hired permanently and his classmates are jobless for the entire period. I want a rotational public service job. You get a job for 10 years. At whatever age you join public service, you serve 10 years, you go to hustle like the rest of Kenyans, and others also join. That's one. Also, I want a net exporter economy where we manufacture more, process more, then export finished products, other than the situation that is now where we are exporting raw material. So I want a situation where Kenya is fully industrialized and that every Kenyan is involved in value addition in 2060. And by 2060, I want us not to have too much reliance on presidential mercy so that a region can be developed. A uniformly developed region and a free society. And a society where those who are less fortunate are supported. But I also want us a more responsible community. You know, there is a spiraling sense of carelessness where people want to give birth to 6 children, 10 children, and then they leave it for government to educate. Let everyone be told that you have a responsibility over your own children. But I want a free education, a free primary, secondary, and university education system, which is high quality and which denies the public schools and private schools investors opportunity to invest, where there's no private education and every education is free and equal and uniform.
Okay. I want to ask you a question. Gentlemen, have you, for those who've traveled out of the country, have you ever missed Kenya the moment you landed at this free country for just 1 hour? Have you ever missed home?
Yes.
How much do you miss this country when you get there? For just even 2-3 days?
In Uganda.
All right. So for me, I just want a good country. It's as simple as that.
In Uganda, you cannot say hi to a policeman.
and some other places.
But in
things are
Kenya,
very
we
harsh.
take selfies, right?
Yeah, here things are okay.
For me, I just want a good country. It's as simple
That
as
is
that.
Vision 2060.
Yeah, just a
because
good
we
country.
say that we have a secure democracy. Kind of Kenyans, can we secure prosperity?
Yeah, when you say something good is good. I mean, everything is good. A land of...
But more so if we are looking
yeah.
at the future,
Okay.
we must look at the young people, where they are, where they are going,
Yes.
and have a plan for them. And
Very
that is a good thing that the president is doing. Only that. He needs to now have everybody involved so
Okay.
that we don't become participants, we become involved fully in coining that vision.
Just, we'll have this discussion in future, now that in the next 48 or so hours, the president will be officially launching it. That will be the next discussion we'll be having, I think, in the next couple of weeks to come as we continue. Thank you so much. Mosiori Mtetezi, asante sana for coming to the show. For the
Thank
first
you
time
very
hosting
much.
you here, that's a good one. Of course, Wakili is not new to Jerusalem. Asante sana for coming. Franco Nchweri, who is an advocate of the High Court. And of course, Binoloch, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Next time, give me the memo that says that we should be on suit. I don't know who gave out the memo. My memo was wrong. Next time, the memo should be right.
I'll pass the memo.
Someone wanted to embarrass me on national TV.
No, we are good men. We are
And
good
thank you
men.
so much for
We are
hosting
good men.
us.
Asante sana.
Yes.
All right, now let's cross over to Naivasha. Hashim is standing by. The UDA and, of course, ODM. Parliamentary group meeting is happening there. Of course, they're going to chart way forward ahead of 2027 general election. They are going to have, to tie some loose bolts and nuts there to ensure that we have got a good one, as I said, in the next year's election and moving forward. So let's cross over to Hashim in Naivasha. I'm Victor Lo. Good morning.
Naivasha result has already started. Are trickling in. Let me just pick a soundbite from one of our leaders, that is Senator Tabitha, because she's going inside this particular meeting that the UDA brigade is currently holding. Senator, thank you for joining us and give us a brief. What will be happening today?
Basically is Kenya Kwanza, and of course with our very good friends, our brothers and sisters from ODM. As you know, for the last 2 years we came together and we have a formation called the Broad Base. So you're just basically coming to look at the achievements that we've been able to do for the last 4 years together. For the last years there's been quite milestones, and we see the blueprint that we want to come up with as far as 2027 manifestation is concerned. So the discussion is actually more of the 2027, what we want to present to Kenyans, and the scorecard as at now in 2026. So that's just basically our discussion. Yes.
Because the opposition is saying today you're here to just share power.
I think as you've been keenly observing the opposition, of course they have no agenda. Our agenda here today is just basically to talk about the plans that we, the broad-based formation, will be achieving come 2027, and what has it been able to achieve for the last 2 years when we came together as broad-based, and for the last 4 years what we've also been able to achieve. So of course, what do you expect from them? We bring leaders together. The president has shown leadership of inclusivity, leadership that is tribeless, leadership that brings the picture of Kenya together. So that's what we're basically discussing. And you know very well, as Kenya Kwanza, the president, Dr. William Ruto, has always opened doors for us when it comes to matters parliamentary groups. This is not the first time we are having these meetings. These are continuous meetings that the president had promised when we were forming government. It's just a continuation of what we had promised one another.
Thank you so much, Senator. Always a pleasure having you. Let's also get a chance to speak to Mheshimiwa KJ. Mheshimiwa KJ, thank you for joining KBC Channel 1. What does this day signify for both ODM and the UDA party?
And even for Kenya, because this day signifies exactly 1 year before Kenya goes to a very important and decisive election. For UDA, I would imagine that UDA is continuing on its declared mission, which is to unify the country. And you remember in the runner-up to the last election, UDA did come together in a coalition that was called Kenya Kwanza. And the narrative that was driven during that election is that we can be a country that goes to an election on topical issues, not on tribalism, not on name calling, but to get an agenda. But today, as we speak, for those of us who are in UDA and in the broader Kenya Kwanza coalition, it's to first take stock of what we have been able to deliver for the last 4 years. And you shall be seeing coming out from today a good report card to the country, saying to Kenya that this is what we committed to do. This is the manifesto that we had in the last election. This is how far we have gone in rolling out what it is that we pledged to do in our manifesto, and even more importantly, looking into the future. What is this generation of leadership imagining Kenya to be in the days that are coming, and looking far into the future, noting full well that we are coming to the end of an epoch. We are coming to a time when we are coming to the end of a Marshall Plan. We all remember that we had this massive Marshall Plan called the Kenya Kwanza Marshall Plan. And if you look at what UDA has done in the last 4 years, if you look at what the broad-based government has done in the last 2 years, it speaks to those ambitions and aspirations that were in the Vision 2030, up to and including agriculture. It has to do with housing, it has to do with labor and jobs for young people, and it also has to do with a country that is forging towards a united republic more than a republic of tribal states. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa KJ. Thank you also for speaking to KBC Channel 1. You have just heard from Mheshimiwa KJ. Good to see you. Thank you so much, sir. And of course, if my cameraman is able to show you, we have Mheshimiwa. Hey, Mheshimiwa, speak to Kenyans. We're already live. You can tell them what should be the expectation, not only from you leaders, but what is it in it for Kenyans?
Thank you so much, Member of Parliament, Baringo County. My name is Jematia. Today is a very important day for us leaders and Kenyans. We are here to check up the progress of government, especially on the broad-based government. And we've been together for a while now, probably 2 years down. And we want to do some scorecard and see where we can enhance better governance and better delivery to Kenyans in terms of services. And also we will discuss more about coalition, proper coalitions. As you know, we are gearing up for the next general elections, and everyone is expecting a good or a better, model going forward. Definitely, this is Kenya. Every 5 years, we have a way of, remodeling our politics so that we go hand in hand with the expectation of the Kenyans. Definitely, we're already in power sharing. In Kenya, I think after the promulgation of 2010 election and subsequent elections, we've realized that it is not possible for one single party, specifically a ruling party, to just walk straight to back again to elections. So as we have been working through the same sharing as broad-based, we call it, we will definitely have to define more and better way of reaching Kenyans. Thank you so much.
Let's allow you to go inside. Of course, the leaders are currently converging here behind us at the Kiboko Hall. They want to have an a-tete before they head over to the main tent where all the leaders are meeting. We can confirm to you on this particular side the CS for ICT, that is William Kabogo, and a host of members of parliament. We can also confirm the head of public service, that is Felix Koskei, has arrived as well. Let's also pick the brain of Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa, allow us to ambush you. We're currently live on KBC. This is Mheshimiwa. You can look at the camera. Mheshimiwa, all the way from Kibra. Mheshimiwa, what are your expectations today and for the people of Kibra?
Of course, we are in a broad-based government. Today, we want to take stock of really what this current government, the Kenya Kwanza government, has done since we joined the broad-based government. We look at all the areas of the promises, the 10 points agenda that we did with them, and how far they have gone to. We also want to look at if we are going to have a political framework, a framework that will make the UD and ODM work together in the coming general election. Now we need to see whether we have people from our side who will work together with the people from UDA to come up with a joint kind of manifesto if we have to run together and see how politically we'll manage our expectations in coming the next general election. So we have to negotiate as political parties. We need to have ODM negotiating with UDA from now on and see how the next government is going to be formed and what percentage, what portion of the government really, if we have to form a government, our demands should be respected. Their demands also should be respected. That is why today we have our party leader, Dr. Oginga Buru, and also the president of this country.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Let's allow you to go also into the meeting. Just heard there a number of members of parliament as well as governors and deputy governors who are currently speaking to. The CS for ICT, William Kabogo, has already arrived. We can see the Blue and Maritime Cabinet Secretary, that is Ali Hassan Joho, has already arrived here. The Cabinet Secretaries, also the cabinets are here, the Cabinet Ministers are here just to give an overview and oversight this particular process that is currently happening here at the Lake Naivasha Resort. Also, the House leadership has already arrived here at the Lake Naivasha Resort. We want to get this particular opportunity to speak to some of the cabinet secretaries who are already accorded here and arrived. We're trying to get an opportunity to speak to them as and when we do so. Also, we do have Dorcas Odwori, the Attorney General, has already arrived here, as well as other leaders who are currently converging here. They already set up the red carpet. Any moment from now, President William Ruto and the ODM party leader, that is Oburu Oginga, will be walking down this particular end to just meet the members of parliament and leaders who have converged here just to have a conversation ahead of their main conversation that will be happening inside that particular tent. We've just heard from leaders on a number of key issues they will be speaking to, taking stock of how the broad-based government has been working for the last 1 year or so since its inception following President William Ruto as well as the late Prime Minister, that is Raila Amolo Odinga, signed that particular agreement at the Kenyatta International Convention Center on a workable agreement between the two parties, that is the ruling UDA party as well as the ODM party. A number of leaders will also press them to ask them questions about if this is going to be a conversation about forming a power, and of course they're shying away from that particular conversation, but it's something they can also talk to. We can also see the Migori governor here coming in as well. The governors are also present. We also saw the Meru governor and also Wesley Rotich. A number of county heads are already arrived at this particular vicinity. Also senators, given that this is a conversation that will be happening across all this particular structured leadership positions in this particular venue. Also, they will be focusing on the NADCO report and its status of implementation in this particular venue. Also, we can see Senator Veronica Maina already arrived here. Senator, karibu sana. We're trying to get a number of them to speak to them. Mheshimiwa, if you'll allow us kindly, we are live on KBC. Mheshimiwa, karibu sana. You can tell us what are your expectations as a leader. You can look at the camera and tell us.
Oh my. Good morning, Kenya, and welcome to Naivasha. Today, as the ruling majority, we are caucusing to decide on how to finish the last mile. Today is exactly 1 year to the next polling, and we need what the ODM chair would call power, the finishing power. So I think that we will be agreeing on the nuts and bolts of how to achieve what is outstanding, how to take stock of what we have so far done, and how to reassure Kenyans that Kenya is inching towards Singapore. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Sanei, let's get your views as well. What do Kenyans expect? What do the people of Northeastern expect from this particular meeting?
I think it's not more of Northeastern, but a national issue, a national agenda. Being 1 year to the next general election in 2027, it's about formations and coalitions to make sure that the second term for His Excellency William Samoei Ruto is worked on. It's about structures, coalitions. That's what's at stake for me. It's not more of developmental performance appraisal 4 years down the line. This being the fifth, what has the government done? And thereafter, going forward, how will the government, how are we planning to win a second term? To be precise, that is the agenda here. Thank you.
That is Mheshimiwa Sanei, of course. We need to wrap up this particular interviews. We'll be coming back. We need to take a short commercial break. As and when we come back, we'll be grappling with some of these leaders who have already arrived here at the Lake Naivasha Resort. So don't go too far.
Get ready for a captivating continental football extravaganza. KBC Channel 1 brings you exclusive coverage of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON. From Sunday the 26th of July to Sunday the 16th of August 2026, welcome to Morocco! Morocco is the battleground as Nigeria defend their title against 15 other nations fighting to lift the prestigious trophy. Who will be crowned Queens of African Football? Courtesy of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, watch all the action and rally on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
It's not that when you fall in love, they'll cancel you. In this business, following someone and canceling someone are all very normal.
Explain to us. What's going on? What's with the legend of the white snake? Are you playing the game or falling in love?
Why do you put on this face?
I was just thinking. I have just joined the team. Before making any contributions, I got into so much trouble. Jian Yang, what we had is in the past. Don't dwell on it.
Mabet. Ait El Hadj in some space. Room to deliver another one of her crosses. Flicked on! Oh, that's fantastic! What a goal from Morocco to open the scoring. Ouzraoui with a sensational lift over South Africa goalkeeper Kaylin Swart. And the Atlas Lionesses, with their second effort of the game, have the lead just after the half hour. Advantage of Morocco. And Ait El Hadj has her fourth assist of the tournament. And that was a very, very stylish goal. Superbly taken by Ouzraoui, her second of the tournament. And she celebrates and whips up the crowd as well. Look at this, still a lot of work to do. That is an exquisite finish. And you can see from her eyes as she followed the direction of the ball that she knew exactly what she wanted to do. An outstanding piece of skill and improvisation from Ouzraoui. And South Africa have work to do.
Okay, we're coming to Mheshimiwa kidogo, kama unaweza to join. We're currently live on KBC. Just 1 minute, okay. We're trying to get a conversation here with some of the leaders who already arrived here at the Lake Naivasha Resort, because we can see a little bit of the time is going by at least 8:34 currently. We're still waiting to see when the president, as well as Dr. Oburu Oginga, the ODM party leader, will be currently arriving here any moment from now. Yesterday, what we can confirm to you as Kenyans is that both sides had the opportunity opportunity to have a Kamkunji, both on the UDA side and the ODM side. Of course, they were meeting ahead of this particular meeting today so that they can get a feel of what they will be discussing today. Already a number of cabinet secretaries have already arrived. I told you earlier on the ICT cabinet secretary, that is William Kabogo, arrived here earlier on. Senator, if you'll allow us, we're currently live on KBC. You can just stand here. Senator from Nyeri. Senator, thank you for joining us this particular morning. As an outfit from both the UDA as the ODM, what are some of the expectations from leaders to Kenyans today?
Well, thank you very much for that very valid question. I think today we will be talking about Kenya moving forward, the unity of Kenya, the oneness of a nation, and most importantly, how we achieve unity in a country that will be tribeless, in a country that will be elected without mattering where you come from, and most importantly, where people will be able to sit down and talk as a people, not as a different communities within this city, where tribalism will be a thing of the past, and most importantly, people who've never been able to sit down on the same table will be able to sit down on the same table. It's not to everybody that Mount Kenya has never sat down with Nyanza. This is the beginning of a new chapter in the history of a country where people will start talking like leaders, prioritizing the things that Kenyans need to be doing, and that thing, development, and most important, where there will be no marginalization of any community because of a voting pattern. This is indeed the beginning of a new chapter that will be determining the future of our nation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Senator. Let's allow you. You can see even the governors here, the governor of Tharaka Nithi, that is Muthomi Njoki, as well as we've just seen Kenneth Lusaka, the governor, of course, of Bungoma, has also arrived here. These are some of the leaders who have converged here, just waiting for this particular meeting to start. We can see a host of members of parliament now currently walking up to this particular venue, and of course, even Governor Wilbur Tichilo. Governor, if you'll allow us, we're currently live on KBC Channel 1. Mheshimiwa Timothy, if you'll allow us. Governor, you can look at the camera there.
Yes.
Talk to Kenyans.
Yeah.
What do Kenyans expect from this particular meeting?
Thank you for this opportunity. I think we have come here as ODM and UDA to discuss on the way forward in terms of our coalition negotiations, and also to chart the way forward for the country. Yeah, so I expect a lot. By tomorrow, we should be able to come up with a clear vision on how we want to work together. We are the two big parties in this country. Yes.
Thank you so much. That is Governor Tichilo. Mheshimiwa Timothy, karibu sana. Just tell us, aside from the issues that you'll be discussing here, will you be making priority on implementation of the NADCO report and the status of the broad-based government since inception?
Very good. First of all, we are here to lay the framework, a solid framework for the re-election of Dr. William Samoei Ruto for a second term. And in laying that framework, you know that we are working closely with our friends, the ODM. And of course, NADCO report is one of the issues that we are going to discuss solidly as members of parliament, because this is the vision of Raila Odinga. When we joined hands and formed the broad-based government, it means, therefore, we must also implement the vision of Raila Amolo Odinga. And therefore, largely, we shall be relooking at the NADCO report. And remember, that report has some areas that need legislation in Parliament. And also, we also be looking at that. And also, we shall also be looking at our scorecard as a government. For the last 3.5 years, 4 years, what have we achieved as a government? And I think also, you are aware that also ODM has joined us. And we are looking at formalizing that union so that we become one solid union as we head to the general elections.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Let's allow you to go inside. You can see the leaders are currently, of course, arriving here at the Lekavasha Resort. Some of them have congregated outside here because they're supposed to be having a meeting before they head over to the main. Senator Kajwang, kindly just stand here, please. We're sorry to ambush you. How are you, sir? Thank you. We are currently live on KBC Channel 1. Just looking at that camera, Senator, you could be standing here. Thank you so much. Just tell Kenyans what to expect today from this particular meeting that you'll be having.
We are coming together as partners in Kenya's governance and politics. We want to reflect on a few things. Of course, we want to reflect on our Vision 2060. What is it that we want to tell the people we are going to do if you are re-elected? But this re-election is not just for another 5 years. We are looking at the next generation. So we want to have detailed conversations about our political agenda and how it can carry the aspirations of our people, our youth into the future. Of course, lazima pia tujipange for the next election. We want to make sure that we win this next election emphatically so that we've got a strong mandate to run this country. We'll also be fusing together the ideologies of Raila Amolo Odinga and those of William Ruto so that we can come up with a blueprint that can ensure prosperity for Kenyans. So in as much as this is a political event, really what we are talking about is the future of this country, the future of the generations, and how to make sure that this country maximizes its true potential. Because that's the real purpose of politics and leadership. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Senator. Let's allow you to go inside. Mheshimiwa, you can stand here. Give us your point of view. What should Kenyans expect today?
Thank you so much. We know very well that we are in broad-based government. And in broad-based government, I want to assure Kenyans that my key focus and what they should expect, that this broad is fully grounded on best principles, politically, economically, and socially. And that is what should be the outcome of this meeting. And more so, when we are now left with 1 year down the line, we want to have a clear footpath or roadmap towards our general election that is effective, that is objective, that is enriched, that is inclusive, and carries all Kenyans along, regardless of which tribe. And I want to say that as leaders, both ODM and UDA, we should chant a path, a footpath that made us to fight for our independence in this country. And that should really be the focus. Based on the pillars that we have, that we should deliver to Kenyans, Kenyans should see leaders who are more committed to service delivery rather than personal interest. And that is why we are here today.
So much, Mheshimiwa. Of course, we need to let her go as well because they are having this particular meeting just behind us here, and they've already arrived as some of the leaders, of course, speaking to some of the issues they will be discussing, including the full implementation of the NADCO report. If you remember, a few months ago, these particular leaders had the opportunity to meet at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where they got an opportunity to speak to some of the issues that were being failed to be implemented. And one of those issues was the NADCO report. Of course, they brought up a technical committee of both parliament and the political structures within the ODM and the UDA party just to ensure that they had that opportunity to fully implement that particular report. Also, they'll be having the particular opportunity to discuss issues to do with the Vision 2060. If you remember, the president just spoke a few days ago in terms of the vision plan they had for this particular country, with barely 4 years remaining to the conclusion of the 2030 meeting that will be happening here. And of course, if you can see, the leaders are still arriving. The security personnel, there is a heavy security personnel here just to ascertain the secureness of this particular leadership and the vicinity of this particular area. The leaders are currently arriving here. We can see even Mheshimiwa CNN. Mheshimiwa, quickly, before you head inside, just come and speak to Kenyans. Tell them what to expect today.
Today we are expecting the broad-based government to have a deliberations on how we are going to work together as a coalition. And we are here for business because we want to embrace everybody in this country in terms of governance here. Most of the minorities have been left behind in terms of formation of the government. That is why we are embracing inclusivity for all Kenyans, and we are eagerly waiting to listen to the president and also other party leaders to give us directions on how we are going to manage the next general elections. We are here as broad-based government.
Thank you, yes. Let's allow you to go inside as well. You can see also the security personnel clearing us from here. That means that any moment from now, President William Ruto, as well as the ODM party leader, that is Oburu Oginga, will be arriving here in just a few. Also, as I told you, they'll be taking stock of the UDA-ODM coalition talks. We'll see how that will pan out, given that that is a conversation that has been happening across the country for a number of years. But for now, we need to take you back to our studios, as and when we come back here, we'll be giving you more from this particular meeting. If you can hear me, Vivian Dego, good morning to you. Coming to you live from Lake Naivasha Resort here. And of course, we've just had the opportunity to speak to some of the leaders here, already converged behind us for a smaller meeting. Of course, even the cabinet secretaries have already arrived, including one of our own, the ICTCS, that is William Kabogo. We have also seen Ali Hassan Joho, the head of public service, was the first one to arrive here, a high-ranking government official. We can also see CS Oroku passing through here as well. We can see other leaders as well passing here. Maybe CS Oroku, thank you for joining us. Just stand here, Waziri. Just talk to Kenyans. What can people expect from the broad-based government today?
I think first of all is to thank the President of Kenya for the leadership which he has shown, that the unity of the Republic is extremely important than anything else. bringing together ODM and Kenya Kwanza so that we can take leadership of the nation. That is a very serious milestone. And the unity of the nation is key, so that it can be the basis of the development of our nation moving forward. We are talking about Vision 2063. For Vision 2063 to be achieved, all Kenyans must work together. The other day, President gave a report or issued a statement about this Vision 2063 and called upon all political parties, all Kenyans, all civil society, academia, and everybody, that this is the time to come together so that we can visualize the future of our nation as far as development is concerned. Democracy, Kenya has attained the highest level of democracy in the world. We need to attain also the levels of development, and we must put a serious foundation. Also, we have to take care of the next year general election moving forward. That is 2027 August next year. The general election we must know how to approach the general election. Today, it is exactly 365 days to the day of voting. Therefore, it's also a very significant day meeting here, that moving forward from tomorrow, we will come out and go to Kenyans as a unit, as united, and convince them that we are going to form the next government with the foreign agendas. We must develop a manifesto together for both Kenya Kwanza and ODM as a coalition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Waziri. Let's allow you to go inside as well. You can see the Cabinet Secretary at least have given us the opportunity to speak to us. But for now, we need to hand you over back to Vivian Degwa. As and when we come back, we'll be speaking to more leaders. Vivian?
And that is our reporter Abdiaziz Hashim coming to us from Naivasha, where the broad-based government meeting is set to begin and is set to take place beginning today. And we've seen him getting to engage with several leaders from cabinet secretaries to MPs, and will surely be following up on that as it continues. But right now, let's get back to our conversation right here on Good Morning Kenya, this being a family check. And we have a very interesting and engaging conversation that I would love you as a viewer to be part of. The number is right there on your screens. If you want to engage with us, the number is 0707 303 212. And the question we're posing to you this morning is age a factor when it comes to you settling down or choosing who to settle down with for marriage? That is the conversation we are having today, and I'm more than pleased to engage my panelists for that this morning. And I want to begin with the only gentleman available right now. Hopefully we'll have the other gentleman join us as we continue, and that is Ken Odongo. Ken Odongo is a pastor and the director of Focus Business College. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
And then we also have, right next to him, we have Edna Daniel. Edna is a film production student at the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. Welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
And then we have Masi Ndanu. Masi Ndanu is a student from Karatina University, taking a BA in Communications and PR. Welcome to the show. And then right next to her, we have Judith Pelukine. And Judith is a therapist and a leadership coach, as well as an author. Let us engage. Welcome to the show. Let us engage. Let me first just begin by posing the question, is there a right age to settle down? Is there a right age? Let me start with you.
Mm-hmm. I would say yes, and I'm strongly believing over 30, so you need to be at least 30 plus.
Is that for both male and female?
Absolutely, for both male and female, and especially for women particularly, because in your 20s, I don't believe that you would have that self-awareness of being able to choose the right partner for you from a financial perspective, also from a character perspective, and also for yourself. I think the 20s are really for knowing yourself, understanding who you are, self-efficacy, building your self-esteem, so that if you do enter a marriage and it's, you know, the partner's not treating you properly, if you've got the self-esteem, you have a standard, you can walk away from things that are not good for you. So I think after 30 would be giving you that sense of this is what I'm worth, this is what I'm here for. If I'm not getting that, I can walk away and not be worried. I also think the 20s are, especially for women, are a time to skill up in terms of what you can do to make your own money. Because we know a lot of marriages, when you enter, there's financial issues. And most women will stay in an abusive marriage or a marriage they shouldn't be in because of finances. So I'm like, the 20s are for women to make your own money, learn a skill, and then be able to choose properly once you're over 30 for yourself. So yeah.
All right. I want to hear the same from Ken. According to her, you have no business getting married before the age of 30 for both genders. Yes. What about you? Is there a specific age for settling down?
Thank you so much, Vivian. I think age is a factor. But I think if you talk about marriage, it's not all about age. There's a number of factors that are basically involved in marriage. To start with, I would say that marriage is a long-term. It's a long-term union with somebody. So again, in as much as age is a factor, because you wouldn't want a child who's 18 years old, who is 17 years old to be in a marriage. Of course, he has to be an adult. But the key thing is that, do you share the same values? One of the factors that are very key in marriage, do you share the same values? Do you have the same goals for life? Are you compatible? Are you able to handle the life issues that comes in life together and handle them successfully? So I think in as much as age is a factor, there's also the real issues. And the real issues that we have talked about is we've said that apart from the age, we need to look at factors such as values. Do you share the same values apart from the age? Do you share the same vision together? Are you able to handle the life issues? Remember, marriage is not just simply a road that is so easy. It's a road that is full of challenges. When challenges come, as a husband, as a wife, are you able to sit down and work it out and make sure that life works better for you? So I think in as much as it's a factor, but there are real issues. If I look at it even on the biblical aspect of it, if you touch on the biblical aspect of it, age is not mentioned as a factor. However, the biblical aspect of it talks about values, marriage being on value, responsibility, When today I decide, for example, a young man decides to get married today, are you able to take care of a wife? Are you able to sort issues with the wife? Because there will be moments in that marriage that you question, what is really happening in this marriage? But what really anchors that marriage, what really makes that marriage stronger at that particular time is your ability to address issues that basically comes with challenges at that time. So I think marriage is a factor, but there are also core issues that should be factored in.
All right, Edna, on the same.
Yeah, I would agree on the same. And I'll give my opinion on, age is a good factor, and at the same time, it's not at a point. And I'll give my opinion on mostly relying on millennials. But before, they used to get married at 20, the guy is 20, the lady is 20. But if you look at it right now, it's not based on the marriage. Maybe there are marriage rates that are okay at that time, but right now they're just there to live with each other for the sake of the love is not there. Their responsibility has maybe shifted low because their marriage as age factor was a bit when they were young, so they never had the time to grow by themselves and actually invest in their marriages later when they are mostly mature and have the best responsibility then. And at the same time, age is not a factor at some point because you get married, you get young people getting married, either women or men, getting married to older people. And at the same time, they get to build themselves, or one partner can get to build them more to see the life out there when they are a bit, what you can say like the level of, when I'm old, this is how life is. So you get to study things through them in a fact that you're in marriage. You get it.
All right. Danu, are you open to get married before the age of 30? Because I know you're below 25. You're actually below 23. Are you open to get married before 30? Is age a factor for you?
For me, I would say that's age somehow. But it depends with maturity. Someone, because I would just say I'll get married to someone because they're older than me, maybe they're a little maturity.
Use this, please.
Yeah, I would say Just because someone is older than me, I get married to them because they're older than me. Their level of maturity matters. And as well, you can find someone maybe younger than me, and their level of maturity is a bit, it's higher. And we share the same values, we share the same ambitions, the same goals. They know how to handle conflicts. So
now,
yes.
Now that you've brought up the matter of maturity, is maturity independent of age? Would you say that, emotional maturity depends on one's age? Or maybe you can take that, Judith.
I would say no, because some people are mature at a very young age. And I think also young girls and young women are trained to be more mature as they're growing up. So they're trained, not necessarily age-wise, but maturity in terms of, taking care of the home. People, most girls or, young women are trained to look after other people, put other people's needs first before themselves, make sure the home is clean, is tidy, or look after the brothers. So the nurturing and the training at home is very different from men. So men, sometimes they're told, they're the man, or, they just need to go to work and then just show up and the women are going to look after them, let's say. So the maturity in women is more, I would say, younger. They're more mature. But also, just to touch on a point where, science, there's some research that's showing that, the brain doesn't fully function or grow properly until the age of 25. Yes. So if your brain is not fully formed or doesn't give you the capabilities of, it's a whole thing, why are you even thinking of marriage before 25? Okay, and maturity is not going to come before 25 because you don't have the capacity to be able, when we're talking about being mature or handling conflicts, what conflicts have you gone through before the age 25? What have you been handling before the age of 25? You've not really handled anything. You've been in school, you've been at uni, you've just come out, you probably just had your first job. You don't have the maturity of life experience, right? That's what I'm saying. After 25, your brain kind of is fully functioning, and then now you have to enter life. That's what trains you ready for marriage, because marriage is not, you don't get married just to, I love you, and now we're living a life, and it's going to be all nice and dandy. That's not what marriage is. So when you talk about maturity, maturity doesn't come until you start going through life experiences, and that comes with age. So I don't care how much you think you are in terms of maturity, you haven't fully, manage finances from a, you've just been employed. Have you paid your own rent? Have you looked after yourself from buying food, handling a car, or maybe handling a mortgage, or maybe saving? You haven't done that. Maybe some people have, if you've had a privilege to do that. So I think, yes, women are more mature earlier. However, you don't have the maturity to handle marriage, I don't think.
All right. I want you to pass the mic to Bilson, who has just joined us. That is Bilson Rubia. He's also a student at JKUAT, taking BA in Corporate Comms and Management. Now, Bilson, it's a good thing that you're here now. At least you'll assist Ken, because these ladies have come with fire. So what, from your point of view, makes one ready for marriage? And is age a factor?
For me, age is a factor, because you have to understand that marriage is a rite of passage on us, and rite of passage comes with age. For you have to be birth, naming, and now marriage comes in, and that is where you get your mates are married and you are just loitering around mentality. For age is a factor. It's a very good factor. On to the what was your question?
Yeah, so what makes you ready for marriage?
What makes me ready for marriage at a personal point of view is self-acceptance and identity, the self-identity, myself. Like, I cannot get married and then, or I can't have a girl or a woman come into my life, and I haven't yet fully identified myself, and I haven't yet understanding of who am I. Identity is a very key factor, a personal identity for me, because that is where you get that everything that is thrown onto me, I'll be able to handle it.
Yeah.
In matters of we are getting into marriage, troubles are getting in there, everything is getting in there, or this woman wants this, I want this. We come to that now maturity. Am I mature? Is the woman mature? I can't just look for, this is a word that a lot of politicians use, the ahula balu girl, just to come and confuse me in the goals and priority that we have. Goals are also a key, in the Bible, I think it's the book of Hosea, they say that two cannot walk together unless they are one. So that unifying factor of being one, it's supposed to be there. Are our goals aligned? I cannot come into marriage, the girl wants to go this way, the other one wants to go this way. Hapo hivyo ndo utasema tamaa iliua fisi. Hapo hivyo sasa itakuwa hivyo.
Yeah. So lazima mnaenda njia moja.
Njia moja, kuna njia pana hapo hivyo.
Okay. So now there's something else you've brought about, and we'll take this after the break, whereby you talked about, you find that your age mates are all married and you're still loitering around, from your words. That brings about now the pressure of one being expected to get married maybe at a certain age, or just because maybe you schooled with this person and they already have a family, you're still here. So we'll get into that. But right now, let's take a break and then we'll come back to continue with the conversation.
There's Rowie. We wait and see, of course, especially with those playoffs coming up on Thursday. Should South Africa be in them, they follow the World Cup playoffs. After the semi-finals, here's Katlana in behind. Oh, she's reduced the deficit, but the flag is up. It will not count. Well, this is going to be reviewed. That is what Thembi Katlana has in her locker: pace and finishing ability. Well, this is tight. Look at her, she got on her bike and she went for it, and a brilliant finish as well. Beating Amishi at her near post. And now this is about drawing lines in the VAR room. She's given it. South Africa are back in the quarter-final. Morocco 2, South Africa 1, and Thembi Katlana goes over to the corner of the pitch to celebrate.
Hebu fikiria environment kama hii hapa Western Kenya. Eti mtu atatoka hapa aende Nairobi kusoma university to conquer the world. Mimi Andrew nitahakikisha hiyo ndoto imezimwa. Tazama hayo yote kwa Gundu KBC Tuesday to Thursday 7:30 p.m. Leo sio kesho.
And we are back. Thank you for staying with us. Remember, you can get to be part of this conversation. The number is right there on your screen, 0707 303 212. Is age a factor when it comes to marriage? Is age a factor when it comes to you choosing a partner to settle down with, or just yourself? Is age a factor for you to decide that now I am ripe for marriage, if I may use that word? I want to read a comment that has just come in. Someone is saying, my name is Dennis Kiplagat. Age doesn't affect relationships. Age doesn't matter at all. My wife is 20 years old and I am 35 years and we are okay. So long as we are compatible, then we are good. Another one here says, age matters in marriage, especially for legality and maturity, but there is no universal or perfect age for everyone. Readiness, maturity, compatibility, and willingness to take responsibility are equally important. And they put the hashtag love sessions and says they are loving the session that we are having this morning. You can also send in your messages on the same. Before we took that break, we had raised another concern on the same, the pressure that we get to settle down, the pressure that we get in to match up to your peers. Your peers have gotten married, you are still not even, you're nowhere near getting, hata hauna mtu ambaye unaweza sema ati oh mom salimia huyu, nobody. So the pressure for getting married, and specifically I think this one comes to ladies. I don't know how true is that. We have men here who can speak for themselves, but speaking as a lady, I feel like that pressure is more on women. When you clock 30 or even 28, the pressure begins. Unatuletea mtu lini? Unatuletea mtu lini? So Ken, is that the same pressure that men experience? Would you say that it's a pressure that men have to get married?
I would say yes and no. You know, we are transitioning from, if you look at the time of our fathers, you look way back 30, 40 years ago, I think they would marry way earlier, you get at 18, and you just get married even at 14. But as we move ahead, times are changing, and a lot of stuffs are really, really changing. And we talked about something that are very important, that before you get married, you need to put your house in order. One of the things I would, maybe at the current time, I wouldn't advise for one to get married when your finances are not in order. I wouldn't advise when you are not mature upstairs, to get married, because marriage is a journey. For those who are in, I believe some are in marriage here, but for those who are in marriage, it's not as simple as people may say, because you have to take care of one another. And taking care of one another requires that you have to be mature enough. But back to that, not so that I don't delve far away from where we were. We talked about pressure. Yes, there's pressure for men. I think even at this time, you still have parents who tell men, you're at 28 and your mother is telling you, hey, I need to see somebody crying somewhere in the house. Yeah. So there's still pressure for men. However, I would say that this is not a decision that entirely rests with the people who puts pressure on you, but entirely rests with you. In that you must ask yourself fundamental questions that, am I ready at this very moment to get married? Am I capable of handling somebody's feelings? How does a woman operate? Because that's the first thing, As a man, you need to know how a woman operates. In order for you to handle a woman, you need to understand how a woman operates. Same to a woman. Do you know how to handle a man? How does a man operate? How do you know a man is okay? How do you know a woman is okay? I think that's a fundamental question. So I think for me, at the current times that we are in, the pressure is real, but you must ask yourself real questions that, am I really, really ready am I able to handle this institution, a very good institution called marriage? There's a story that is told, our parents never teach us, they tell us marriage, but they never teach us the details of the marriage. It's just like our parents tell us how to live with them, but they never teach us how to live without them. You see, marriage exposes us. We never live, we live without them. We live with other people. But I think the question should be, why don't we raise our daughters in the perfect way? Why don't you teach them how to handle the marriage? And men too, our fathers, why don't they teach us that when we step into this marriage, how should it work out? Because that's what builds a mature man and a mature woman. I think that's the real question, is that, in as much as the pressure is there, are real issues that needs to be factored before somebody heal to the pressure. Otherwise, if you heal to the pressure, utajipata pabaya.
Edna, do you feel the pressure to get married? Are you already starting to feel that pressure? Is there anyone that is pressuring you? Do you feel that pressure?
Okay, for me, I don't feel it. I'll take my time, definitely, because marriage, when you come into marriage, you have to carry a whole bag of responsibilities, accountabilities. You have to be loving, so stable in life financially, physically, mentally. You get. So at a younger age, when you've not yet identified yourself fully and get into marriage, you might come into contrast with your partner. Every time, arguments, conflicts, you don't know how to take responsibilities, how to revolve around the marriage aspect. At the same time, I thank our parents, like we are Gen Z, we are millennials, we learn from them. You see marriages not working. For me personally, I learn from marriages that are not working. What are they doing wrong that I should not do wrong when I come into marriage? And I respect them at times because they give us the ability to learn more. What will you come into marriage? Right now, before, people used to say a man should be working, the lady should only be in the house, cooking, providing, giving out kids, giving birth only. But right now, we are in a society where we have to work, both of us, to come on the table and put everything in so that we can be stable as a family or in marriage. So that is what I've learned so far, and I'm not in the pressure to get married at any point.
Yeah. Judith, one would say that, you know, for ladies, you start being nurtured for marriage from a very young age. You'll hear statements like maybe when you're in the house and maybe you're not even washing your own clothes, you're told, we kama washing nguo, nani utafanya nini ukienda kwa bwana, utarudishwa. You know, I'm sure most of us have had that statement. Washi vyombo ukienda wewe utarudishwa. You don't know how to cook, wewe utarudishwa. So it feels like women are taught from a very young age to aspire for marriage. And you know, with everything that you're doing, specifically within the home, it's like you're being prepared to go take care of a marriage. Would you say that's the case? And do we have men also getting prepared that way, and maybe should we start having that as well?
Yeah, I think it used to be that way most of the time. I think maybe it's changing from also what you're saying. But I think, you know, yes, women get prepared, or young girls or young women get prepared. But I think people that are preparing the young women need to be focusing more on the young boys. Because when you're married, like I am, you're in a relationship with someone, you're living with them, you're in the house together. So, and if you are both working, why is the woman being expected to do the house chores? So you're both going out to work all day, you're coming back at home. Why should I go in the kitchen and make you food? You should be going and making me food as well, right?
That's controversial.
Or it will be controversial, but why is that a norm? These are cultural norms that we should be questioning and breaking for sure, because I'm not going to, when my husband and I get home, I'm not running in the kitchen to cook for him. We're like, what are we eating today, like, darling? Right? Who's doing what? You know, and sometimes he's going to cook. Well, majority of the time, actually, my husband cooks, right? But I'm not going to run to do anything that I'm not expecting him to do. So if there's dirty dishes, we both need to decide, nani anosha vyombo leo, ama zinaenda, you know, zinaenda kwa machine zangapi.
I can see the men looking at you. If the house
needs to be
like
cooked, because why? The man,
are you for real?
Where do these men live? Do they live in the same house? Do they eat in the same house? Do they sleep in the same house? So why is one person? Why am I expected to give my financial money if I'm going to work, part of the contribution, but you're not allowed to do, or you're not doing the house chores when it comes to that? If you want to be the man and be the head or whatever they say, I can stay home, I'm happy to stay at home, but you need to have excessive funds of money that I can use however I choose to, and then you can find your food ready, right, when I get home. But if we're both working, I expect you to contribute. And even worse, let's say the worst case scenario, the man is out of work and the woman is the only one who is making money, I expect you to clean and cook the house when I get home. Because now I'm going to do the job. I'm the one who's earning the money. So if I'm earning the money and I'm bringing the money at home, when do tosha vitu na washe nyumba na upige chakula na organize vile kila mtu how the kids are going to move.
Okay.
So I think for me, yes, women are nurtured that way. But I think the women, the mothers need to nurture the men to do the house chores equally, because when you get married, it's two people.
Yeah. Bilson, I would like for you to reply on that. You know, what would be your response on the same? As you also let us know, you know, while growing up, did you ever get to hear maybe your parents, your mom or your dad or your guardian mention that, you know, even though utabehave ukikuwa bwana ya mtu, you know, the way we hear that for ladies, I'm sure all of us have had that at some point, even the younger ones. Yeah, they agree.
Okay. So let's start with being prepared for marriage. Traditionally, my culture, there's a way my parents say things like, for someone to go to their, let's say, in-laws, and for them to know that they are prepared, they cook ugali. If you cook ugali, and then the ugali is just somehow, it's not giving the rhythm of a real housewife.
Yeah, haijaiva vizuri.
Yeah, they chase you, they tell you, bwana enda, go tell your mom to, they return you to your home, they tell you now go and learn how to cook properly. That is how traditional, the culture, the stories that I hear my parents telling me.
Yeah.
And this issue of being prepared in terms of financially stable, you know, they say look up to people, and they are looking at, let's give an example of Bill Gates. Those guys started, well, they had nothing, and they had their wife there. They had their wife there. So I'm like wondering, should someone be financially stable now for them to get into marriage? And when you have that that stability has come, and then you get the woman, that's you're doing kitoroka. Sinamaanisha the woman pia anaenda tu na hizo do, ndo akikam tena, when the money comes, the woman now comes. Alafu the part of washing, doing chores while my wife or my fiancé is working.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you're the one who's staying at home, why not?
They say it can never be me. For sure. Like, just imagine now everyone here was born of a mother and a father. Imagine your father doing the dishes, washing, anapiga deki, anashika duster, that can never be me.
You cannot see
I cannot even imagine it. You know, we are grown up in a state that the father comes, he sits down. He just relaxes. Even if he wants to touch a spoon and go and wash it, you run fast, very fast. You go and wash it, because that is a taboo. I cannot wash dishes.
Even in this modern age, you feel the same?
Let's say we agree on something. But you call me, and then you tell I'm busy at work. Can you do the dishes? Not like you're commanding me. You're putting it in as a command. That can never be me.
All right. So saizi hauoshi vyombo, haufui, haunini, because you
kwangu.
Are you not doing these things?
Sasa sini kwangu.
As a man,
lakini kwetu.
I think that should be a topic on its own, because, you know, I don't understand the double standards, because if you're doing them right now as a man, why is it not a taboo? But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. I feel like we're veering off from our topic. Let's talk about matters age gap, because we haven't touched on that. When it comes to age gap, how big can an age gap be? You know, is there a particular, would you say there's a mark? You know, you have to be maybe 5 years younger, 5 years older, 20 years, 10 years, or it can be as open as it can be. Let me begin with you, Mercy.
Oh, okay, thank you. For an age gap, for me particularly, I'll give it maybe an age gap of 5 years.
Repeat that again.
I said I would give it, for me personally, to be an age gap of 5 years.
So 5 years older as well as 5 years younger, you okay with that?
Younger, maybe 1 or 2 years.
Okay. So 5 years older for the man
Yeah.
And if they're younger than you, they have to be 1 or 2 years younger.
1 or 2 years.
Okay.
But being younger, it depends with the level of maturity. I'll just not, obviously I'll not just get married to someone because they are younger than me, maybe because of their looks, or maybe they are tall, dark and handsome, you know, all that. But it will depend with their level of maturity. If their level of maturity, if you are compatible, if you are sharing the same values, if you're having the same visions, the same ambitions, yeah, I can get married to them if they're younger than me. But being older, I'll give it an age gap of five years. At least that's that person we are reasoning together.
Okay.
We are in the same, tuna resonate pamoja, you know, rather than giving it maybe 10 ama 15, tutakuwa na differences sana maybe in finances, maybe in parenting, you know, and all that areas of life. Unaweza pata maybe I don't want to have a baby immediately when we get married, and to him maybe he wants to have a baby. Unajua time inasonga pia, anasema no, we need to have a baby at this age, you know, or maybe financially yako na plans zake juu yako, you know, ameishi sana, so he has his
ameishi sana is wild. But yeah,
akona plans zake na mimi mwenyewe niko na zangu pia, and unapata we don't even have the same shared values.
Okay, I hear you on that. And by the way, someone says hi to you. They say hello to Mercy. She was my schoolmate at Mboni Girls.
Oh, wow.
Now, there's another question here, and I would like Ken to I would like for you to answer. Hello, good morning. This is a great discussion. My question is an age gap of 15 years okay with someone who you're well aligned in terms of values, articulating issues, and very accommodative of weaknesses? Kindly answer me. Is 15 too big of an age gap, or is it okay?
Maybe the first thing I would have loved to know, is it the lady who is older, or is it the man that is older? That's really fundamental. But from the point where I see it, for a man, because mostly if I talk about 35, a man at 35, that's the man at prime. I would say man at prime. Mostly a man at 35, that's the man. Not majority of men would be having cash maybe at 20s. So majority of men would basically get most of their wealth maybe in their 30s. So for me, if you're compatible in terms of shared values, you know, in terms of vision for life, I wouldn't see if there's an issue. There's something that's also very important, just to make it very interesting, you know. I think what we align with, you know. For example, if we were talking about a man who is, let's say 50, you know, you are moving from previous marriage, of course you have kids. And then you're looking at your biological, you know, like, let's say, for example, at 50, if you decide to marry at 20 definitely want a child. You're looking at it on the aspect that you are at 50, let's say 52, you want to begin to raise a baby who's 1 year, get this child to a university. That, for me, I would feel that's also, to many men, they will ask questions. Is it really okay? So at that time, maybe a man would desire to have a woman who would not be willing. Kids will be a no. But we just share a life together. But the kids will be no. So at that point, maybe when a man is that age, and maybe his desire, maybe he looks at it, his desire is not to have more kids. Maybe you, from a previous marriage, you had maybe 5 kids. Why would you add more kids too? So you'll be looking for maybe not a younger partner, but a partner probably has 40, maybe has also kids somewhere, but now just to run life, but not to have kids. So it depends on a number of things, you know. But as I say, that for a man at 35, that's maybe most men, the prime is at 35. Yes. So you can get a person at 20 is okay, as long as you are compatible and you have a shared value.
Yeah. So the difference is in whether it's the woman who's younger, 15 years younger, or 10 years younger. Yeah.
But I say for a man, I was looking at, for a man, it's okay, because a man at that age, as I say, that's a man at his prime. A man at 35, that's a man at his prime. But for a woman on the other aspect, again, also that gap for a woman at 35, again, and a younger man, of course, for some people it's okay because it's very subjective. For some people it works well. You know, we have seen. You know, if you look at it, if you limit it to what we see, would miss it. Because some people have worked well. Some people, you know, 40, the man is 40, the wife is 60 something, and it's working out. Yes.
All right. Allow me to read a number of messages that are coming in. Remember, you can also be able to send a WhatsApp message to us. The number is right there on your screens. It's there throughout the conversation. The number is 0707-303-212. Someone here says, maturity comes with responsibility. A child who has been raised in difficulties and nurtured with focus of success seems to mature at an earlier age and develop stamina to sustain the family, even at the young age of 20 years. That is Mr. Achieva from Marsabit. I hear you on that. Someone else says, age is very important when it comes to marriage. We cannot ignore that. All right. This one is for you, Judith. They say, for the lady who was speaking about chores, suppose it is your son, because it's not guaranteed that all your kids will be employed. And one day as a mother, you visit that house and your son is the one cooking for you. Will you be comfortable and say, now that he is not working, he is actually supposed to be the one cooking for you? For an African culture, it is totally unreasonable according to this view.
I would say if I had a son, I would definitely teach him, because these are life skills. These are not unique to women, the things that we're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, they're just generic life skills. And also, if you are not working, the bare minimum, the basic needs for the house, if you as a man, you're not working, what are you there for? What's your purpose? What's your point? You might as well not be there, in my opinion, if you're not going to do the normal chores. Okay, so if I had a son, which I don't, but I have nephews, they all do the normal chores that a woman does, because we live in an environment, like you said, I think someone said culture has changed now.
Yeah.
Okay, so the top 3 divorce reasons is normally economic, and then, you know, financial pressures, and then infidelity.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we look at those 3, if you're not doing any of those as a man, you know, let's remove infidelity, the top, financial, economics. If you're not doing that, what are you doing there? Okay, and if you do end up cheating on your wife, then why should you, even more so? And I know we're talking about culture, and I know African culture, they're like, oh, man should not be doing this, the man should not be doing the other thing. Culture has changed. Women never used to work back in our grandparents' days.
Yeah.
Now they work. So you have to move with the times. You can't be saying, oh yeah, our dads used to do this and our grandparents used to do it, and now we're doing that, but you're not. The culture has completely switched. So if women are working, they're taking the financial burden, why are you not taking the household burden? What makes you so different? What makes you unique? You're just a person at the end of the day.
All right.
You're just a different gender.
Okay, we're definitely gonna have this as a conversation, maybe next Monday. So we'll get into that when we get to that conversation. Edna, how much of an age gap is too big for you to settle down for?
I will say, okay, depending on the person who texted that, 20 to 35, that's a big age gap for me. Because at 20, that is when someone is trying to know herself or himself. You're trying to grow by your standards. You're now trying to see life as it is out here. Getting married at that point, there are things that maybe you will do that will not align to this person who is 35 years. You might be at that point, you haven't explored partying, you haven't explored engagement with friends. And for the person who is 35, is there to build something mature, so mature that maybe needs a wife at home, needs a wife to give birth to him, needs a wife who is there to protect him at certain points, but you're trying to know yourself. You've not even started protecting yourself or stabilized yourself mentally yet. But running to marry at a young age and marrying someone who is older, for me, that's a no, because we'll differ at a lot of things.
So what age gap do you feel would work for you?
For me, my age gap might be 5 to 6,
5 to 6 years.
At most.
All right, so older.
Yeah, older.
Younger?
I wouldn't personally do young.
Bilson, when it comes to age gaps, where are you comfortable for yourself? Like, which is the appropriate age gap for you personally?
Age gap?
Yeah.
No, first of all, what it does say. 10 years is a big number. You see, we have celebrities because our now measuring of how we are living as Gen Zs or young people, we are living based on celebrities. We have Chris Evans, who is the Captain America, 16 years age gap with their wife, and I think Alba Batista. We have again Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jones. An age gap of 10 years, and they're happily married. But I blame the Kenya system. You know, like the age gap, the maturity of, or they say that 18 years is when, according to the Kenyan law, the person is any person is an adult. But when you look at the developed countries like America, they judge on 16. Someone now has been matured in their world. So when you reach 18 or 20, and then you see a lady or a woman or even a man, 35, having an age gap of 10 years or even 16 years, it is good. For me, even if I get an age gap of 10, and we are complementing each other, I go with it. There is no difficulty in saying that 5, 10 is a big gap. Never. It cannot be that.
Okay. All right. So as we almost come to a finalization of this conversation, maybe Ken, when is a generational, or would you say a generational gap would work? You know, when the gap is too big, in the sense that now you've skipped a generation. So probably she's Gen Z and the man is an older millennial. Would that still work, or it still depends with your compatibility?
A very interesting question. I think when it comes to marriage, at the core of it, in as much as age matters a lot, it boils to, as you say, compatibility. But we also said a number of aspects basically are tied to it. For some men, because it's very subjective, for some men they would not marry older women. For some men would prefer younger women. Some men would basically prefer older women. But I think at the core, what is key is compatibility, you know, and also your ability to handle the marriage together. You two, are you able to handle the marriage together? Because from an experience point of view, I've met couples who are much younger and couples who are younger who are happy. I've also met couples with a huge age difference, but they're very happy in it. So it boils to what works for you, and are you able to work with whichever partner you choose? Are you able to work with them perfectly well? One interesting thing, you know, I think experience is a good teacher. You know, once you get to marriage, you get to have a big understanding as opposed to one who is outside it. You see, whenever we are outside marriage, there's a number of things that we can talk about. But as you get in, because life is a journey and it's a learning lesson, you know. Let's say, for example, a lady says that I wanted a man who was financially stable. The man is financially stable. You get into the marriage. 5 years down the line, the job is gone. The job is gone. That's a question that, you know, you married somebody you thought was handsome. You stay 2 years, you realize that this was not the only thing that mattered. So I think we need to put a society to a space where there's a lot of learning, you know. And I think at this time, because we're in a generation that is very impatient, and there's a huge number of divorce rate, because there's not knowledge behind marriage. I think what we need to strive on as a generation, you know, we need to strive to impact. These conversations are very important, but they need to spark a number of aspects in young people, you know. They need to understand that marriage is not just about money in itself, but it's a fusion of many stuff in it. And that's what is needed, you know. I love what Judith talked about, and very interesting, there's a huge shift. I would say there's a huge shift. But when it comes to marriage, you know, very important, what we need to understand, it's not about the perception of people, it's about the two of you. Yes, that's what people need to really understand. Because today, if I was to involve my mother in my marriage, of course, you will have a say that is contrary different. And when that say is incorporated in our marriage, totally it's going to collapse.
All right.
So I think it's something that we need to, it's a topic that needs a continuous discussion. And just as life is a journey, we need to constantly talk and teach the younger generation as they transition to get married, that if you're looking for a man who is handsome, you'll get the one you notice he was never handsome as you thought. So I think we need to have that conversation rolling. Yeah.
All right, allow me to read more comments coming in. Someone is saying, good morning. When it comes to marriage, age is not a factor. I think that as long as your energies match and you see each other as equals and support the other's ambition, then go for it. Some people don't have the type of education and lifestyle that has been spoken of. Marriage is between two people, regardless of age. They will have hardships because unless you have married before, it's something that is unknown. So age is a no. Because if it is, okay, I don't seem to understand. Because if it is the how you have 15 years, okay. I don't understand that, but we've gotten the first part of your message. Another one here says, how many grown-ups are still struggling with toxic marriages despite waiting for the right age? So age is not truly a factor. What would you say?
Listen, I think, I'm going to stick with my 30 plus because when I hear men at 35 marrying a 20-year-old person, you don't know anything at 20. And I know we're talking about women being, knowing how to, hold the home. At 20, you only know how to follow direction. Okay? This is why a 35-year-old man would want a 20-year-old, because they will just follow direction and follow what they were told, because some of these young girls who have come from homes that have had men, again, not safe, psychologically safe, it could be abusive. If you then go into a marriage at 20, but with a 35-year-old man, you're just following. You don't have the courage, the bravery, the self-esteem, the self-efficacy to be able to stand up and say, hey, this is not working, that's not working, we need to fix this. That maturity, because maturity is not about being trained at home. Maturity is about being able to challenge also the norms that society is putting on us. So I think men really need to get with the program at this point. So if you're a young man, Gen Z or young millennials, you guys need to get with the program, because women have already changed. Women have adopted to go to work. We're adopting many things as society changes, but men are not changing. So why are we not changing, guys? You need to change and get with the program. So you're being left behind. This is why divorce rates amongst women is higher now. I think it's 1.4%. I was looking at stats. Higher by women, like they're divorcing more. Divorce rate overall up to the age of 40 is like up 9% or just over 9%. So I think men are being left behind, and they're being left behind because they're stuck with the cultural norms. And women are saying, actually, we're happy to go to work. We're happy to carry the load. We're happy to chip in. And men are going, no, we're going to just stay home and not do the dishes. It's like so immature and so not grown up. I think you guys have to now culture has changed. You need to change.
You had that.
Women are getting their bag. They're getting, they're going to therapy. They're working on themselves. They're open to growth. So men need to just stop the cultural norms and forget your dads, what the dads used to do, and and just start changing, because you're going to be left behind and you're going to be divorced even more.
All right. Okay. So I want to engage my colleagues on the same. So Victor and Mike, kindly join us. Njoni, mumeingiliwa hapa na Judith kweli kweli. So, I am sure you heard what Judith just said.
Yes.
You need to get to the program as men. Society is changing. Things are changing.
There's nothing that is changing.
Yes, we agree culture is dynamic.
It's fine.
But there are things we cannot escape from as African men. And that's, we are called to provide, yes. Helping at home is not something bad. But then again, if it's demanded, it becomes a problem. That's just what I think.
Victor.
Okay. Now, this is a point. You talked about age and all that.
Yeah.
You guys, it's between the two people.
So age does not matter for you?
We've seen this happening, an age gap of 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 years. two things you should not look for in this life. Don't look for death and don't look for love. It will find you.
But Deb is right.
Don't look for death and don't look for love. It will find you. They say that love is so strong that it can make the fish of the water and the bird of the air to fall in love. Where they will live is the problem. The bird and the fish can fall in love, but mali wataishi is the is the problem. Wataishi wapi?
Yeah.
But yes, they're in love. Can fish go to the nest or can bird go to the wall? But you know, look at it this way. If you find someone, but don't look at the age. Look at it this way. Are you sharing responsibilities, the values? Are you sharing about your careers? Are you talking about the family? Are you talking about the togetherness? Do you have a future together? If you can figure out that, then Edna.
Yeah.
That's why in the morning I said it's subjective.
Yeah.
Narrows down to you as a person. What do you want? Do you mind these things?
And do you agree with me that society judges differently when it comes to when the man is older? You know, when we talk about ages that have a bigger age gap, society judges us differently. When the man is older, it seems to not be a problem. When it's a 50-year-old man with a 21-year-old lady, it's just like, well, okay.
50-year-old man can get married to, get through 3 wives and life will go on.
But when it's a 50-year-old woman who's getting married to a 25-year-old young man, then it's a problem. You agree that
there'll
there's
be
that?
Judgment, actually. There'll be judgment on the woman. Because the norm is that, you know, the man is supposed to... That's the cultural perspective or perception that people have. The man's supposed to be older. But then again, if two people fall in love, you're not supposed to get into that aspect. Let them decide for themselves their future, what they want, what they prefer in that union. It goes forward.
But then, come to think of it this way. What are ladies attracted to when it comes to getting married? What are you attracted to, Edna? Generally, randomly?
Yeah.
I would say, you know, obviously, statistics show that women want a man that's kind, first of all. We want a man that can make us laugh as well. And obviously, financially, 100%.
Thank you.
Potential to earn or... Right?
Thank you.
But that's what you were looking for.
But it's the 3.
The finances.
That's the 3. But if you are kind, you're going to help out in the house. Because you care about the other person. It's not a demand. It's just a, you know, this thing we call conscious competence, which is you can see something needs to get done. And you think, hey,
ideally, women look for security.
But there's a combination of 3, not just security.
Security would mean all those things: the financial security, emotional security, someone who is kind, and all that. You want...
Not necessarily. Some men are stingy.
No.
Some men don't want to give money to women.
But security would even mean... I agree. But security would mean you can see a future with this guy. All right? If you're to bring forth offspring, 2, 3 kids, they'll go to school. That's security. But men, what are we looking for? We're looking for stability.
Yes, stability.
A man can live in that one single room, true or false? You have one sufuria there, you have got your PS right there, and you're good with your boys and life goes on.
100%.
So why do you work? We work because of you people. The moment, again, in the beginning, when Eve arrived, Adam was told. Adam was not given that instruction. Adam was told, you need to prepare your land because the person I'm going to give you is going to depend on you. Adam was not told that before Eve arrived. Adam was given everything. Everything was there, the fruits and kila kitu was there. But until Eve arrived, akaambiwa, you go and prepare your land because the person I'm going to give you is going to depend on you. So this is the point. Sisi tuko tu sawa. Tuko tu sawa. But we work hard because of you people. Because of the continuity of the generations and familyhood. So that's why you people look for security, and for us we look for stability. So if you are stable, it comes with teacher, it comes of Mr. Swan. So, but for you, you know that your future is safe.
Someone is asking Victor, where do we get your preachings after this? You can just...
There's a 07248286.
We need to finalize.
There's a viewer who is saying here, hello, I'm Wanja, Robert, a university student. My view is that reality humbles men, age humbles women. Without money, manhood is hollow. Youth fades fast, but money secures what remains. Age may soften beauty, yet wealth preserves respect. where years weaken attraction, resources sustain commitment. Money does not buy love, it protects it from time.
Yeah.
That's quite a profound perspective.
That's interesting. And I think something else maybe we can look into next time is matters fertility and age, you know, and the age clock that we usually talk about, because there's always the perspective, and he's also actually mentioned it, that age humbles women. And when you talk about fertility, we get to hear that a lot, that we ngoja tu hapo lakini miaka zinasonga. But well, there's something that science has proven.
Another important topic, gender roles in the modern era. Have they changed?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we are coming up to
my last one for you.
Let's finish
my
the
last
show.
one for you. If you find someone, don't look at the age. Go and live your life alone. You see all these people calling Gen Zs and all that. You never see them in your house.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. Okay. Let's finalize. Thank you so much.
I'm Victor Olo, Pastor.
And I am Vivian Dagwa. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of this conversation. Remember, we do this each and every weekday, and on Mondays we tackle matters family. So this is the place to be each and every morning. Thank you for staying with us. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.
The wait is over. KBC Iko Huduma Center. Starting with Nairobi, kupata huduma za KBC imekuwa rahisi. From digital guidance and signet services to booking of commercial adverts and documentaries. Visit our dedicated desks at Huduma Center GPO, Times Square, Makadara, Kibera, or Eastleigh. Tunakungoja hapo. Whether it's a casual announcement or a specialized media solution for your business, we are here to serve you. KBC at Huduma Centers, moving closer to you. Your station, your service.
Habari mate. Nzuri sana. Kwani uone kama niko na kazi nafanya? Aliyokuambia ukae ni nani?
Ukisawa. Ani aje?
Wewe na kangalo blend.
Naenda sasa vile tunataka kupanga.
Kazi ndo mabadu baba.
Nilikuwa nimekuitisha chai na mkate.
Huyu customer wako hapa ndani ulisikia akionda chakula ngani?
Mimi wana maandishi.
Ndio nilikuwa naendea onda yako.
Toka!
Ujuwangi unaniongelesha mtu wa kwanza asumbui. Unajua kizila ni umenipatia.
Kekolacho ki humo hotelini.
Uisi mungaka?
Najua wewe.
It's not my time.
Mama kayai.
Good work to spread the ball out wide. Bellamy into the middle once again, back to West Ham United player. Chip over the shop, it's nice to Benjus. Benjus gets the ball back. She's been knocked off her feet there. Algeria with space, just inside of their own half. Looking up, looking for options. Ould Brahim. Trabzonspor player. The Total Energies Woman of the Match. Congratulations to Melissa Better. Congratulations to Amira Ould Brahim of Trabzonspor. She's the Total Energies Woman of the Match. Just look at these scenes here.
She has gone through it all, having had to get her leg amputated at a tender age to ward away a cancerous tumor that was threatening her life.
Yeah, born with a condition called congenital mutation, whereby after 3 months they discovered I had a cancer. So they had to amputate my leg, and that's how I survived. And then I started using, from young age is when I started using prosthetic, and that's how we cope up with the life.
And Nduko's family were then forced to sacrifice their needs and wants in order to help her survive.
Growing up in the village and being raised by a single mother was a bit challenging. Juu saa zingine unapata si mimi peke yangu. I have 2 older brothers ambao at that time walikuwa wanasoma, pia mimi nasoma, and the medication na prosthetics so was a bit challenging. Sometimes we had to do harambee, ikafika tu mahali like watu wanachoka, kila wakati, and at least that time nilikuwa na change mguu. After 3 months, 2 months na change. The more I grow, hata kama na grow na 1 inch, lazima ni change hiyo mguu. Juu usipo change, una lean na ina affect kidney zako. So you may turn up with kidney failure. So that is what we were preventing, na kila wakati ni kubadilisha mguu, kubadilisha. So hiyo kucope up na hiyo situation was a bit challenging.
And survive she did after getting the help she needed to even get an opportunity to go to school.
I studied in the special school in Joytown Secondary School. Hapo ndio nilijua sport. In primary nilikuwa kwa special unit wenye ilikuwa tuna walemavu, na hapo tulikuwa tunafanya sport but si mingi kama Joytown. Then pale primary school nilikuwa tunafanya chess na Scrabble. Hiyo wakati nilikuja Joytown ndio nikaingia kwa hizi multiple sports, na after kutoka huku nje nika specialize na sports.
That's where she found her bearing in sports to participate in as many disciplines as she could manage.
Okay, I normally do chess, I do badminton, I do wheelchair basketball, I do table tennis, and I do Scrabble. Yes, and above all, chess and badminton are the best for me.
At least for para chess, she's able to sit down and play, unlike in para badminton, where there is a lot of movement, and that is where the right prosthetic leg comes in handy.
This leg, I got it last year in Autobox, in a lock, as you can see, in a lock. Whereby unapata ukivaa ina lock, uwezi anguka, ukianguka utaumia, hiyo mguu itatoka, hii stamp yako itoke venye unaweza umia. So what I normally do, una press your button, ina unlock, then unatoa hivi, then wakati wa kuvaa you just pull hiyo silicone liner, unaifold, unaeka tena, unaiweka, then hii ndio lock yenye inaenda pale. As you can see hapa ndani kuna shimo. As you can see hapa ndani kuna shimo. Hiyo shimo ndio inakuja kupatana na hii ndio lock. Ukiweka hii mguu hivi, si unaona, ukiweka unaona hii inazunguka, ndio ina lock.
But that does not deter her from pursuing her dream for play. She does, hoping for the best. And the best did come when she got an opportunity to represent the country outside the region and come back with a bronze in the SL4, which is the classification for those who are able to stand.
Badminton nimekuwa Uganda, nimesafiri Uganda, nimesafiri Egypt, na natarajia kwenda Dubai. Uganda I didn't win, but my ranking was in Uganda ranking. Niliweza kupata ranking na classification, whereby in Uganda I was ranked world 45, na nikaenda Egypt nikakuwa ranked 31, world 31, and in chess mimi ni Kenya 1. Na bado tunang'ang'ana, juu ratings lazima zipande, lazima upate ung'ang'ane.
Mary Nduko is more determined than ever to improve on that performance, hoping to make her way to the Paralympics in the near future or the Chess Olympiad.
For the chess, I've been Belgrade. I was supposed to go in Malawi. That was my first tournament. Na juu I had issues with passport nini, unajua ukiwa ushago pia uko na ule mzazi nini. So hiyo trip ilinipita, nikapitwa pia na trip nyingine ya Greece. Nilikuwa niende compete Greece, nikapitwa, but when the good time ilifika nikapata passport, nimekuwa Belgrade. Tulikuwa supposed tuende nini Dubai, lakini kwa kuwa na changamoto tukakuwa tunaenda Chennai in India, wakasema they can't host us PWD, so we are waiting for the next year. Kwa chess kuna hiyo FIDE Championship, World Championship ya PWD yenye itakuwa Dubai pia.
She, however, needs help to get the right prosthetic so that it does not impact on her kidneys to add more salt to her wounds.
This I got it at 750,000, of which somebody, a well-wisher, Ali just dropped the money from me, akasema acha nikusaidia nduko, of which for now imeharibika. Unaona hii silicone line ishaanza kukatika juu I'm using it for the wrong purpose. Hii mguu ni ya kutembea, si ya kucheza hapa, kutembea pekee. So hiyo friction yenye inacheza hapa, na saa zingine unaweza slide ikigwara. This thing, hii silicone ni soft sana. Ukiweza gwara na kakitu ama kamawe tu hivi, ishakatika. Already imekatika, I need to change it, the silicone.
And that's not the only challenge she's facing, as they are forced to foot most of their bills to get by as persons living with various disabilities.
Kama msichana mdogo, challenge zenye unapata ni kukopa up na hizo vitu juu for the chess you must look for your coach na umlipe. We pay our coaches according to the section na level yako kwenye chess imefika. That is individual game. Lazima ujitume, you have a lot to do. Lazima kama ni vitabu usome, ufanye a lot of research work, inataka ujitume. So sometimes unapata the resources ni challenging. Juu kama una pesa ya kulipa coach, hautaweza kumove on. Yes. And pia kwa badminton kama saizi, I feel like I'm struggling juu I'm using the wrong prosthetic on the wrong purpose. So unapata kama saa zingine unaona kama I wish umeona saa zingine nashindwa na kusplit juu unaogopa hii lock ikikugonga itakuumiza hii mguu ingine, na ukisplit vibaya kuna possibility ya kuanguka.
She, however, is not resting on her laurels even as she awaits any assistance to aid her mobility. She has studied cosmetology and hopes to open a business in future to support her endeavors.
Lazima niendeleze zote juu sport utafika tu mahali uzee itaingia, na kama una kitu ingine ya kufanya unaona utakuwa unateseka hapo mbele. So that why I decided nisome, ndio at least hata kama nitakuja kudrop esports nitakuwa na kitu ya kufanya. Naezaenda tu nifungue beauty salon yangu, naezaenda andiko na serikali nifunze, naezaenda tu niandikwe tu na private schools, na hivyo ndivyo maisha itasonga.
Persons with their disabilities have proved time and again their capability if given the opportunity to realize their potential, and the world of sports continues to provide those platforms. Let other sectors follow suit too.
Expectation this year, we are expecting like hiyo kuenda Dubai na the other tuweze kupata hizo points za kuqualify Olympics, World Cup na Commonwealth. So unaweza pata kuna mtu pale ameona tu video yangu, anaweza sema okay, sitakusupport na mguu lakini naweza kupea foot, naweza kupea silicone liner, naweza kupea hiyo anything the little you support I will just appreciate. Ama mtu aseme just come to my hospital, just bring, if we share the cost, ama just do this, upime tu mguu yetu, then you advertise for it, utuambie vile iko, we will appreciate. I myself, I will appreciate, and I will be so happy.
Very good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome. It's the 10th of August 2026. Sports Check will be coming up shortly, but at the moment, there is the broad-based government's parliamentary group meeting that is taking place in Naivasha, and the president is addressing that parliamentary group meeting. Let's move over to Naivasha.
And therefore, where you are seated today, understand the consequence of your being here. Our nation, Kenya, today depends to a very large extent on this team that is seated here. It is not easy to put together 250 plus members of the National Assembly and almost 45 senators. And